All right, I think we're live. Let's see here. Let's see, I think we are live. What's up, guys? Welcome to the stream. I know you guys are probably wondering, Myron, why isn't there a banner? First, I was cleaning out my computer because I had like a bunch of old videos that I never used. I was cleaning out the hard drive, and then I think I accidentally got rid of the banner and some of the stuff that was on OBS. So here we are. So I lost, I think I lost some of my sound effects as well.
Stupid.
So yeah, anyway. But anyway, we're live. Can you guys give me O/ if you guys can hear me and everything else like that. We should be live on all the platforms. I see that we're live on YouTube, Rumble, Kick. Let's see here. Yeah, we should be good everywhere right now. Let's see. Shout out to all you ninjas. Shout out to all the people watching on Kick. We're at 1,200 followers now. That's awesome. We are live on all the platforms, guys. So YouTube, Rumble, Kick. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and put get on X real quick. Oh shit, bruh. I opened up my X and Jack Doherty crashed his car again. What else is new, bruh? This nigga, bro. Look at this shit, man. Bro, look at this, guys. Open up my Twitter. This is the first thing I see, man. This guy always doing some crazy shit.
Oh my God, Kristi. Yes, it's bad. Are you okay?
Well,
are you okay?
We know women can't drive, but that's a whole other thing. What the fuck, bro? I open up X and that's the first thing I see. This nigga, bro. That's obviously not real, but whatever. This is the kind of the way people market nowadays, bro. It's really crazy, man. Holy. But yeah, guys, welcome to the stream, bro. We're gonna be covering a bunch of different stuff today. We're gonna be covering LA riots, updates with that, Diddy case. As you guys know, today they had a trial. I think they probably just got out as we're speaking right now, because I was talking with Mel, and he was telling me that they're going to be getting out at 5 o'clock every day right now. Let me see if he's available real fast. Kind of last minute, but we'll see. And I'll see if I can get him on for you guys. As you guys know, he's actually there in the courthouse. So it's always good to get firsthand account from him. I was going to go this week, guys, but bro, we got so much stuff going on, man. Like, for me to just get up and leave in the middle of things is, yeah, man. Yeah, we just got to fucking, you know, we got a lot of stuff going on. But but I definitely, as you guys know, I'm definitely going to go there. I just got to figure out, well, I'm going for closing arguments. That's 100%. But, yeah. All right, while I wait for Mel to get in here, let's go ahead and check out the LA riots first. What's the latest with the LA riots? Let's see here. Bro, LA is cooked, bro. Cooked. When I got off yesterday, they were talking about shutting down the airport, man. They were talking about shutting down the airport. So, dude, this shit is starting to get out of hand now, man. It's really starting to get out of fucking hand, man. Ridiculousness, man. Absolutely ridiculous. So,
Great like 92! That's imperialism!
Look at that. There's, you know, isn't it interesting how they're burning the American flag? But it's like, okay, you guys don't like America. Then why are you so pissed off about getting deported to where you're from? Right? Just doesn't make sense to me, man. Doesn't make sense. These fucking assholes just want to come here, abuse the resources, game the system, and not contribute. Right? They just want to fucking take. Then they got the nerve to fucking spit on the American flag like this. This fat fucking slob right here, piece of shit, torta motherfucker.
You're looking
at some of the many scenes, just some of the many scenes. Parts of Los Angeles were a mess over the weekend. You've got immigration raids setting off 3 days of often violent protests that escalated into riots. So good morning, everybody. On a Monday, we'll see where we are now. Hope you enjoyed the weekend. Back into the week we go. I'm Bill Hemmer live in New York. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm Dana Perino, and this is America's Newsroom. It feels like there's sort of friction happening everywhere, especially in Los Angeles. They are reeling from day 3 of chaos. Anti-ICE agitators fighting with police, some of them waving foreign flags. And we've seen people hurling.
Yeah, that's all they're doing is waving foreign flags. I don't see any of them with American flags, chat. None of these protesters have American flags. And I was saying this yesterday. The way to tell that you're in the United States is by seeing a bunch of other flags. Meanwhile, to figure out where you're at, you look at when it's only one flag. Isn't that wild? Isn't that crazy? You go to any other country, right? They're just waving their flag. You don't see any other flags in the fucking, in the crowd of people. But in America, you see a bunch of dickheads with all their fucking flags from their shithole countries.
Rocks and bottles at police cars, some even smashing windows at the LAPD headquarters.
So, Dana, the rioters are also torching a row of Waymo driverless taxis that are in use in Los Angeles. Meanwhile, police forced to shut down the 101 freeway after protesters ground traffic to a halt. President Trump deploying thousands of National Guard troops and saying the federal response could escalate from here.
What's the bar for sending Marines?
The bar is what I think it is. I mean, if we see danger to our country and to our citizens, we'll be very, very strong in terms of law and order. It's about law and order.
Sending active Marines on the table, sir. Secretary Heck.
We're going to see what we need. We'll send whatever we need to make sure there's law and order.
So now Team Fox coverage. Kayleigh McEnany has analysis. Rich Edson reports at the White House, first to L.A. on the ground. Jonathan Hunt leads our coverage on this Monday. John.
Look, you can see they're next to a federal building because these cars right here.
Where are we?
These white and blue cars. This is FPS, Federal Protective Service, which is basically they're the agency responsible for protecting federal buildings. So, and they're part of the Department of Homeland Security. So, anytime you go in a federal building, you see those like cops wearing the blue uniforms that say DHS. That's these guys. They protect all federal buildings. You know, they run dogs around them, make sure there's no fucking bombs, shit like that. So, yeah. That's what it is.
Now, hello.
Good morning to you, Bill. We are still in what is a very tense situation in downtown Los Angeles. You can see one of dozens of police roadblocks that have been set up in the area behind me here. That is because we are right outside the Metropolitan Detention Center. That is where the protesters believe some of the immigrants caught up in the raids over the last few days are still being held. And let me bring you over here, Bill. This is the 101 freeway you were just mentioning, and this is the exact spot that was shut down in both directions yesterday when thousands of protesters showed up in downtown LA, and hundreds of them made their way onto this freeway. That is where we also saw several California.
Yeah, there it is. Yep, I think these are this is FPS right here. Homeland Security Rapid Protection. Yep. So.
Highway patrol vehicles.
Yeah, this is FPS right here.
Set on fire by the protesters as they continued to battle with law enforcement, who returned with tear gas, in some cases rubber bullets. It has been a very intense 3 days throughout here, and the LAPD chief Jim McDonnell at one point essentially admitted during a news conference last night that the LAPD on its own could not cope. Listen here to the police chief.
We are overwhelmed as far as the number of people out there engaged in this type of activity and the type of things that.
Yeah, this police chief is a big fucking pussy, by the way, Chad, if you guys are wondering. Bro's terrified to do anything because he knows that, that people are going to get pissed off at him, because he looks at it like, yo, we don't want to deal with anything that has to do with immigration because of, XYZ, because they don't want to be looked at poorly. And this LAP has not been helping with immigration raids at all. Now they're helping with kind of trying to restore order, but they did not help during immigration raids at all. You see the attack choppers flying around? No, I didn't see that. Sobo says, Myron, you need to redo the link for this locals. The links are broken. You have to manually browse by Myron to get locals for the OSS to show up. What? Bro. God fucking damn it, man. Yo, it's joinoss.locals.com, bro.
They'll take backpacks, and the backpack will have a cinder block in it. They have a hammer, and they'll break up the cinder block and use that, pass it around to throw at officers. There's no limit to what they're doing to our officers.
Now, LA Mayor Karen Bass also held a news conference during the height of last night's riots. She condemned pretty unequivocally all acts of violence, but at the same time, she said that the violence, in her view, was to some extent sparked by the presence of the National Guard. Here's the mayor.
I was hoping to prevent this situation from happening. I was trying to encourage the administration that if they deployed the National Guard in Los Angeles, it would create a sense of chaos. It's the last thing our city needs.
Yeah, but there was already chaos because you guys can't get your fucking city under control. Your police department is cucked. Your sheriff's office is cucked because they're terrified to enforce immigration. So obviously Trump had to do what he had to do. Dude, they're over here saying like, oh no, we got it under control. No, you guys don't, dude. You guys don't got it under control whatsoever, man. Whatsoever. By the way, guys, I will drop the link to all the CC guys. If you want to join OSS at a special price point, I'll give you guys the link right now. For a year, use the code JFK911. I think that's the annual code, only $55. And for the monthly code, is JFK911 for the first month. The annual deal is obviously the best by far. $55 for the year. Obviously, I made it on purpose, a good price, so it doesn't break the bank for you guys.
Now, Bill and Dana, going back to the police chief, his press conference was particularly interesting. I was on air hosting Fox News at Night Friday night when this all began to unfold. And as we showed our viewers and I watched the live pictures coming in, it struck me, where is the LAPD? They were certainly slow to deploy. Now, the police chief said in that news conference they had to get organized, but at the same time, he also said they do not want law enforcement to be politicized, and he seemed to be at pains in that press conference to say the LAPD is no part of the ICE actions. So it seems fair to...
And that's pathetic that that's what it is. And that's why we have the problem in the first place, is because the law enforcement doesn't want to be involved in ICE raids, the federal government now has to bring in the National Guard. See how they've created their own problems, chat? From them not wanting to be involved, that means that the feds have to bring in... That's why they're bringing them in. They literally militarize the national force at the federal level because these guys don't want to fucking do what they're supposed to do.
Question, as many at the White House have, whether the LAPD was slow to get involved initially because of the tinderbox of a political situation we have here. And it remains tense today. As I said, another protest due to gather at around 11 a.m. here in downtown LA. National Guard is on the streets, hundreds of them we have seen today, and these police roadblocks all over downtown.
And they were raiding, guys, last night, they were fucking looting stores and shit. Man, it was absolutely nuts.
In LA. So the tinderbox is ready to be lit once again today, Bill and
Okay,
Dana.
a couple things. Let's go through it together, Jonathan. There were reports over the weekend that there was a 2-hour delay on behalf of the LAPD. Now, the police department came out and said that was not the case. There was one incident where they were 37 minutes delayed because of traffic and a number of other factors. I don't know how in the end we run that story down. The place where you are, is that where ICE would take those that they've apprehended who are in the country illegally?
It's one of the places that they might take some of those that they have arrested over the last few days. You know, ICE is not telling us where they have taken all of those that they have arrested, Bill. And to go back to the police chief again and the role of the LAPD, again, I watched it Friday night. It did seem to me they were very, very slow indeed. I did not count the minutes. I couldn't tell you whether it was 2 hours, an hour.
And the feds probably didn't notify them of the immigration stuff because they didn't want stuff to leak. You know what I mean? Guaranteed. That's another reason they didn't want to tell the LAPD and the locals what they had going on. So that's another reason as well. By the way, guys, if you guys don't mind doing me a solid, if you're watching on YouTube, guys, and you want to help me out, open up a tab and watch on either Kick or on Rumble, okay? if you guys are watching. So make sure to open up a tab on there because YouTube doesn't pay, bro. They don't pay me because they're fucking dickheads. Literally the most bullshit monetization standards ever. People, whatever. I'm not going to get on my horse about that shit. So yeah, here I'm dropping a Kick link for you ninjas. Open up a tab. Watch on Kick as well. Kick is pretty solid. I can't even lie. Their streaming software is pretty good. So I dropped the link for you guys there on YouTube.
9 minutes, an hour and 39 minutes. But it did seem that they did not get out on the streets of LA to do what was needed to be done to enforce the law, to keep the peace as quickly as they might have. What the organization...
Yeah, they got out there way later.
Organizational difficulties...
They just... Zeger from the Kick chat said that they just deployed the Marines 30 minutes ago. Interesting. Oh yeah, by the way, if you guys are a subscriber, okay, on Kick, I will be looking at, I'll be seeing your guys' chats if you're a subscriber, so consider subscribing to the channel, right? Like I said before, guys, we are going to grow the Myron Gaines X channel. As you guys know, I'm expanding this thing, making it bigger and better. That is why we are, going hard in the paint, streaming on multiple platforms. Because I told you guys before, this channel costs me quite a bit to run. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I spend a significant amount of time and money investing into this channel. I spend easily between $15,000 to $30,000 on this channel a month to keep it going, right? Between my editors, clippers, traveling, shit like that, easily cost me about that much money. So, and it's cool, right? But, at this point, I've been putting my own money into it. So I got to start making it more... profitable, and that's just me being honest with y'all, right? So, but obviously I'm going to keep it where it's really easy for you guys. That's why I got the OSS price point so fucking low. I'd rather have more of you guys in there with small dollar donations versus like trying to get higher level ones. Yeah, man, if you guys want to support the channel, help it going, because obviously I've been funding it myself all this time, being demonetized for 2 years. So I'm just trying to at least make it where the channel breaks even or even a slight profit. No big deal. So that's kind of why I'm doing what I'm doing. So sub to the channel helps out a lot. If you're a member of Castle Club, join into the OSS. You can only join the OSS if you are a member of Castle Club. I put the links in there for you guys if you want to go ahead and get in there. You can get in for $55 for the year. It's only open up for people that are part of Castle Club. So shout out to all you ninjas. Imal Holly says, subbed on Rumble and Kick. Thank you so much, man. I noticed a lot of you guys really like watching the stream on Kick, so that's good, man. That's good. I'm glad that we're opening up another audience base over here on Kick that we didn't have on the other platforms. Because I know some of y'all are kind of picky, man. That's why I figured I'd just be everywhere. Because some of you guys are like, oh, we only want to watch on Rumble. We only want to watch on YouTube. We only want to watch on Castle Club. We only want to watch on Kick, right? People have allegiance to their different platforms. Some people only want to watch on Twitch. So, yeah.
In doing that that's not for me to say. I'm not a law enforcement.
Yeah, shout out to all you guys with subs. I see y'all ninjas, man. King DMRs, would you rather us watch on Rumble or Kick, Myron Gaines X? Watch on both, bro. If you could open up tabs on both, I would really appreciate that. If you could open up tabs on both, that would be optimal. That would be really, really optimal.
Enforcement expert. The police chief said...
This is what you could do if you guys really rock with me. Like the video on YouTube and have a tab open on YouTube, Rumble, and Kick. Okay? It's Myron Gaines X across all 3 platforms. You guys can see with my thing right there. Myron Gaines X everywhere. All right? So if you guys really want to rock with me. And then you have all 3 tabs open, and then you watch wherever you like the most. On YouTube, you can watch me in 4K. That's the only good thing about YouTube. I stream on 4K on YouTube. Kick doesn't allow 4K streaming, and Rumble doesn't either. But Rumble is damn near 4K. Rumble is really high quality. So whichever of the 3 you guys want. And then obviously if you're OSS or Castle Club, you got to watch on there because the fucking chat is the best. Niggas are putting memes in there and shit. It's hilarious.
Said that it's simply a case of getting organized. He said if they send 1 or 2 squad cars, they could get surrounded. That becomes a much...
So thank you so much, guys, for the support. I really do appreciate that, man. Smash that like button. Sub to the channel if you're watching on Kick. Sub to the channel on Rumble.
more dangerous situation. But there's certainly legitimate questions to be asked of those who are able to answer them as to where the LAPD was in the early going on this. I have to say, over the last 48 hours, they have certainly made their presence felt. And as you can see behind me here, this is just one of many roadblocks, Bill. And just to give you an idea of the tension in the air here, we came into downtown around 3 a.m. this morning, Bill. We approached one of these police roadblocks just around the corner from us here. We're near the City Hall area, so this is the heart of everything. And as we approached that roadblock in our vehicle with one of our security guys showing his law enforcement badge, we were fired on with a flashbang grenade. They landed it just a couple of yards in front of our vehicle.
Yeah, guys, if you're in LA, don't go anywhere where they're protesting, bro. They're going to look at you as like a fucking annoying protester, and they're going to hit you with that fucking flashbang and tear gas and all that shit, bro. It ain't worth it, man.
These guys were not playing around this morning. Everybody very tense. The simple answer to us approaching that roadblock was, don't even dare. Get back. That's how tense the situation is in LA today, Bill and Dana.
So, Jonathan, that's my question, which is, what do you expect today or even into tonight? Do you think it keeps going, or does it pull back a little bit?
Yeah, it's an awful thing to do, to predict more riots, more violence, but it's hard to see anybody backing down at this point, Dana. The protesters have another gathering called for beginning at 11 a.m. That's 2 p.m. Eastern today. That's in Grand Park, just a couple of blocks from where we are right now. I can tell you that behind me, behind those police vehicles you see, earlier today there was a line of National Guard protecting the Metropolitan Detention Center here. They've withdrawn for now because there is obviously no immediate threat.
Looks like the sheriff's office, yeah.
At 6:09 in the morning, that threat will be perceived at the very least once protesters start gathering just a couple of blocks from here around 11 a.m. So the National Guard will be back on the streets, hundreds of them. There are hundreds more, up to 2,000 available at a moment's notice if necessary.
Hey, She Belong to the Streets gifted a sub to Max Wheezy. Appreciate you, She Belong to the Streets. Guys, do you get ads when you watch on Kick? You don't get ads when you watch on Kick, right? Kick guys, tell me, do you guys get ads? Let me know. I don't think Kick has ads on here, right? Unlike Twitch. Let me know, ninjas. No ads. Okay. Shit. Okay.
So, yeah, it's going to remain.
So even for you guys, there's no ads, period? Okay.
A tense situation. I hate to predict violence.
Damn, this shit really is better than fucking Twitch, huh? God damn, nigga.
Hate to predict riots, of course. You hope that peace will prevail, the protesters will remain peaceful, but it's a difficult situation. Both sides are ready for conflict. That is a certain thing to say, Dana.
All right, Jonathan, thank you.
Yeah, good work out there, Jonathan. Back to L.A. with the sun up now momentarily. Rich Edson's got the Democratic response from leaders in and out of the state, and also what's expected from the president, who we should see probably in about 20 minutes. Live from the White House now. And Rich, what's happening there?
Hey, good morning, Bill. Well,
Jack 92 times with the sub. I appreciate that. And by the way, also, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put like a little sub meter on the side for y'all. And I'm going to put more stuff on the screen so you guys can see like what's going on. And I'll try to get widgets also if people sub on Rumble and shit like that. So, and shout out to, hold on. I saw somebody sub on Rumble. Alberto Velez, one gifted sub. I appreciate that, bro. Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
Democrats in California, across the country, are saying that President Trump...
Oh, an O/emote? Yeah. I'll tell Josie. Josie, we need an O/emote for them. We definitely need an O/. But you know what? We got to make it where you got to be like a member for like OG or something like that. That's got to be like a really good one. That like here, let me message Josie and say that we need a O/. She's probably watching the stream, but let me see here. All right.
Trump are accusing him of an alarming abuse of power. California Governor Gavin Newsome says that President Trump...
Yeah, it'll be only for subs.
Trump is acting like a dictator and has illegally commandeered his state's National Guard. He posted on X a letter that he says he sent to Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, formally requesting the administration rescind the troop deployment and that, quote, "We didn't have a problem until Trump got involved. This is a serious breach of state sovereignty, inflaming tensions while pulling resources from where they're actually needed. Rescind the order. Return control to California." Yesterday, the president responded to questions on whether he plans on using the Insurrection Act.
Well, we're going to have troops everywhere. We're not going to let this happen to our country. We're not going to let our country be torn apart like it was under Biden and his auto pen.
California Democratic Representative Norma Torres posted a video demanding that ICE get the heck out of L.A. so that order can be restored. In a statement, former Vice President and Los Angeles resident Kamala Harris said, quote, "This administration's actions are not about public safety. They're about stoking fear. As the LAPD mayor and governor have noted, demonstrations in defense of our immigrant neighbors have been overwhelmingly peaceful." Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton responded, quote, "No surprise the most incompetent vice president in history stands with the illegal alien rioters." President Trump is due back here at the White House a little later this morning. We'll see if he has anything to say about what he has heard from these officials.
Okay, you got it, Rich. Thanks. Nice to see you there. North Lawn, back to you as we get more news. Thank you, Rich.
It's a Monday, and Kayleigh McEnany joins us. Great to have you here as this breaking news is happening. Gavin Newsome, the governor of California, had some tough words yesterday on MSNBC. Let's watch.
Come after me, arrest me. Let's just get it over with. Tough guy. You know, I don't give a damn, but I care about my community. I care about this community. The hell are they doing? These guys need to grow up. They need to stop. And we need to push back. And I'm sorry to be so clear, but that kind of bloviating is exhausting. So, Tom, arrest me.
So the Tom he is talking about is Tom Homan, and Tom Homan was on Fox and Friends this morning. Listen here.
And for those of you that don't know, Tom Homan is the border czar. Okay, used to be a higher up over at ICE. He was former border patrol before. As the border czar, guys, basically his job. Shout out to Arc Lightning with the 50 gifted subs on fucking Rumble. Appreciate you, bro. Shout out to you, Arc Lightning. Shout out to you, Arc Lightning, man. Shout out to you. I want all you guys to sub on Kick as well. We got 200 ninjas in here. We only got 1.3K followers on Kick. We already got 200 live viewers. And I'm not botting, by the way. We can really run it up on Kick, by the way, chat. We're gonna take over. My goal here is to make Kick. We're gonna make Kick great again. And we're gonna make Kick great again by increasing IQ, having more critical thinking content. We're gonna cover the news, cover true crime. Yesterday was an action-packed show. We literally covered everything. We covered the Karen Reed case, the Diddy case. We covered foreign policy. We talked about them boys. We talked about what's going on in Palestine. We talked about what's going on with the heifers. Man, we covered so much. We covered the riots yesterday in detail. We did a couple of spaces. We covered fucking Greta Thunberg getting arrested by the Israeli Defense Forces. So literally, man, this is your one-stop shop for everything, chat. You get your news, everything right here, right, from my perspective. So yeah, man, shout out to you guys. Shout out to you, Arc Lightning. I appreciate you greatly, my friend. You better be in OSS, bro. If I wasn't broke, I would give Myron all my money. Here, he is our generation's Jesus. I appreciate that, Estor Boris. Look, bro, if you guys don't got money, I don't want you guys going broke to fucking send me money, bro. Don't fucking do that. Real talk, don't do that. Just smash the like button and support, share it with a friend. That right there is more than enough. I don't want nobody's fucking money if you're like scrapping buying shit. Fuck no. Hell no. I'd rather you take that money, save it, invest, go get a job, get a skill set. I want you guys to fucking actually make money. Then you can come back and join OSS or sub or any of that other shit. But like, use this content to make yourself smarter, maybe while you're working or whatever. Know what the fuck is going on. Don't be a fucking retard. That's why, like, I'm not gonna be gambling on Kit, guys. You guys know that. I'm not gonna be gambling. Not gonna be doing no fucking drinking streams or none of that other bullshit. You guys know I'm very anti-drug and anti-alcohol and gambling. Anti that shit, bro. So we're gonna bring the IQ up on this motherfucker, right? Give you guys some entertainment, but at the same time, teach you guys something too. Shout out to Dab and Dan, subscribe for a total of 1 month. I appreciate that, my friend. Thank you very much. And Ultra MAGA Forever gifted 5 subs. Thank you, man. Appreciate you, my friend. Appreciate you.
But when you cross that line, you put...
Okay, this is Tom Homan. Okay, this is what I was going to say. So Tom Homan, right, he is the border czar, guys. And as border czar, basically, think of him as like the unofficial Secretary of Homeland Security, okay? Because I told you guys this before, but I'll tell you guys again. Kristi Noem is a retard, okay? Kristi Noem is the current Secretary of Homeland Security. This is her right here. All right? She's focusing more on not coming off as an adulterer with her right-hand guy, right? But this is her. She's the former governor of South Dakota. And honestly, she doesn't really know too much about immigration. She actually embarrassed herself by not knowing what habeas corpus meant in a hearing, which I'll show you guys this shit real quick. Because, bro, man, Trump clearly hired her because he's like, all right, she's easy on the eyes. Let's fucking put her on. You know what I mean? Like, dude. Oh, shit, dude. Look at this, bro.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem made headlines during her testimony to the Senate Homeland Security Committee Tuesday when she incorrectly answered what the fundamental U.S.
And basically, habeas corpus, guys, is the practice of, so you have a right, when you're arrested by law enforcement or the government, where they have to bring you to in front of a judge to, so you can know what the hell you're being charged with, right? This is to escape, what like a lot of these, European types of police would have, right? Like in Russia or in Germany, the Gestapo or the KGB, these secret police that would just like kidnap you in the middle of the night and then just throw you in jail. You wouldn't know where they're going. So habeas corpus was basically created to avoid that type of situation where you're not getting fucking picked up at night by some niggas and then kidnapped, and then you're in a jail or in a gulag somewhere and you don't know why you're there or anything. You don't know what your charges are. You don't know what's going on. You're like, what the fuck? You just wake up and they take the black bag off and you're in jail. So that was what habeas corpus was designed to prevent, right? To ensure that Americans get due process. Okay. Now Trump was flirting with potentially getting rid of habeas corpus, a month or two ago when I was on Timcast. We were talking about this. Okay. So this is funny.
U.S. right known as habeas corpus means.
So Secretary Noem, what is habeas corpus?
Well, habeas corpus is a constitutional right that the president has to be able to remove people from this country and suspend their right.
Bro, what the fuck is going on, man? What the fuck is going on, chat? Wow. This is the Secretary of Homeland Security, chat. God damn, bro. Damn, man. And she got outsmarted by this dumb bitch with a Ukraine flag pin, man. Holy, bro.
Cocoon punch.
Man.
Right. No, let me stop you, ma'am. Habeas corpus, excuse me, that's incorrect.
The concept of habeas corpus dates back to the Magna Carta. It is the right of prisoners to challenge their imprisonment, allowing them to ask a judge to issue a writ of habeas corpus, essentially a court order, demanding that whoever is detaining them prove in court that their detention is lawful. If a judge finds that is not the case, the prisoner must be freed.
Basically, establishing probable cause, but your due process is not getting violated, right? I talked to you guys before about the nuclear program that a guy named Mordechai Vanunu figured out. Okay, Mordechai Vanunu was a whistleblower on the Israeli nuclear program. Nigga sold the, you know what? Let me just go ahead and show you guys. Let me just show you guys because I think it'll be more interesting if you guys see it yourself. Because this is actually a hilarious clip and I like to play it sometimes. This is Numek. Great documentary, by the way. All of you guys should check it out. Okay. It covers how Israel stole the nuclear bomb from the United States. This is, I ain't gonna lie to you, it's very dense, but it's very good. All right? All right, let me show you guys the clip that I'm talking about. You niggas don't want to end up like this guy, your boy Mordechai Vanunu. Okay, here we go.
For Israel, year after year, decade after decade. I know that
1985, Vanunu worked at...
Okay. This is great. And to all my guys watching on Kick, listen up, ninjas. This is going to be some good stuff right here, okay? Really good stuff.
Before Julian Assange, there was Mordechai Vanunu.
Hey, this is a real nigga right here. We got to give him a Don DeMarco. This is the guy that exposed Israel's illegal nuclear fucking program. Another one, baby. Okay? This is a real ninja right here. All right? Real ninja.
Vanunu worked at the Negev Nuclear Research Center south of Dimona. He was politically opposed to Israel's 1982 war with Lebanon. In 1985, he secretly brought a camera into the research center and covertly took 57 damning pictures of Israel's nuclear weapons. There was no World Wide Web in 1985, so...
And the reason why this is a big deal, guys, is because Israel's not supposed to have said nuclear weapons, okay? They illegally got them, chat. They illegally got them by stealing information, technology, and uranium from the United States. That is why.
He needed to go to the papers, but certainly not in Israel. He traveled to Australia. Converting to Christianity in 1986, he promised to sell his story and give the...
And he's Jewish, by the way, guys. He converted to Christianity.
...proceeds to his church, then in Australia. He traveled to the UK with an independent Colombian journalist and a journalist for the Sunday Times.
Oh, shit.
He also gave detailed descriptions for the process of creating tritium and a method for lithium-6 separation in addition to his photographs. As the Times was verifying his story, the Colombian sold the story to the Sunday Mirror. Mistake.
Ah, shit. Here's where shit gets real.
The Sunday Mirror was owned by the now infamous Robert Maxwell, the father of Glenn Maxwell, the convicted child trafficker who worked with Jeffrey Epstein and Wexner's blackmail.
Oh, no! Bruh! Man!
Maxwell, already working with Israeli military intelligence,
every single time,
tipped off the Mossad.
No! Nigga tried to do the right thing, bro. Nigga tried to do the right thing.
They created a honey trap. 8 years his younger, Cheryl Bentoff, a Mossad agent posing as
Hey, Kick niggas, how you guys enjoying this, man? You guys are getting some crazy info right now, man. Welcome to fucking Bargains X, niggas. Welcome, Kick ninjas.
A fiery, red-headed American tourist, enticed Vanunu to travel to Rome with her on holiday. At an apartment there, Vanunu was jumped, drugged, and smuggled to Israel.
So that is what you guys are seeing right here. I bring this all back so you make sense. This is what habeas corpus was designed to prevent. That you're not getting kidnapped by intelligence, assets, or the police and not being charged with something or brought in front of a judge lawfully, okay? That is what it was created to prevent, which obviously we know Israel is over here violating shit all the time.
There was a closed-door trial and he was put in prison.
Closed-door trial.
11 years of which were in solitary confinement. In 2015, the National Security Archive of George Washington University published documents that corroborated Vanunu's claims and evidence. Did the U.S. government or media care?
So, yeah, that's what habeas corpus is designed to prevent, guys. So let's go back to her looking like an idiot real quick.
This right is explicitly granted in the first article of the Constitution, saying, quote, the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus shall not be suspended unless when in cases of rebellion or invasion, the public safety may require it. The Supreme Court has consistently upheld this right and says it extends to both citizens and non-citizens. For example, activist Mahmoud Khalil, a lawful permanent resident whose status has been revoked by the government because he took part in pro-Palestinian protests and is currently detained by Immigration and Customs Enforcement, filed a habeas corpus petition challenging his detention. In 2008, the Supreme Court also extended this right to non-citizens detained at Guantanamo Bay. The protection has only been suspended legally 4 times in American history, and only with congressional approval, according to the National Constitution Center. During the Civil War, President Abraham Lincoln suspended it throughout the United States, and Congress later passed a law legalizing Lincoln's decision. Congress authorized the president at the time to suspend habeas corpus 3 other times during Reconstruction in certain parts of South Carolina, during a 1905 insurrection attempt in the Philippines and after the bombing of Pearl Harbor in Hawaii in 1941. The Supreme Court has ruled that migrants detained as part of the Trump administration's deportation efforts are allowed to challenge their deportation using a habeas corpus petition. The Trump administration is, quote, actively looking at the possibility of suspending habeas corpus, according to White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller. If they don't get congressional approval to do it, it could set up their actions for another fight at the Supreme Court over their constitutionality.
All right. Crazy shit, huh? All right, let's
Thank you very much,
Nice talk,
Madam
sir.
Chair, Madam Secretary. Thank you for being.
All right, let's go back to this and just.
Or you destroy property, or I say that you're impede law enforcement, or you're knowingly harboring, concealing illegal handling. That's a crime, and the Trump administration is not going to tolerate it. You cross that line, we're going to seek prosecution in the Department of Justice. Then the reporter asked me, well, could Governor Newsome or Mayor Bass be arrested? I said, well, no one's above the law.
Kayleigh McEnany, your thoughts this morning?
No one is above the law. We see that with Judge Hannah Dugan, who's being prosecuted for aiding and abetting these illegal immigrants and obstructing an official proceeding. Look, President Trump, I was there as press secretary during the summer of 2020, during the riots. I've had many, many discussions with him about his views of the National Guard, about the military. President Trump really views this as an escalatory ladder. He expects the states to patrol their streets as the 10th Amendment calls for. They have the police power. He's not hesitant to use the National Guard when needed. He used it in D.C. when St. John's Church was burning. He says, if you don't act, I will. And then the military is a last resort, and he has that power under the Insurrection Act. But we saw very clearly during my tenure what happens when you don't act. We saw that in Minnesota. We saw that on May 27th when a Target burned, when other stores burned. The police chief in Minnesota said, hey, we need the National Guard. Tim Walz made the decision to deploy the National Guard on a limited basis to protect the state capitol complex. And guess what happened that night? The 3rd precinct burned. Yeah. So every hour counts. Every minute counts. Gavin Newsome has delayed in this matter, and President Trump is saying, I'm not going to delay.
So on that point.
Yeah, because the Democrats care more about optics, chat, than actually getting shit done. They're so terrified of being looked at as, because here's you guys want to know what it is with the Dems? They're terrified of being called authoritarian, fascist, dictators. They're terrified of being called that. Okay? So that is why they're so soft when it comes to riots. This is why they don't want to go ahead and activate the military, the National Guard during these riots. This is why they don't even like it when the cops wear riot gear. They don't like that. Okay? They hate the word fascism. I've noticed when it comes to liberals and progressives that they get mad about fascism. You know what? Let's be honest here. Real nigga time. What's so bad with fascism? Yeah, I fucking said it. What's so bad about it? Huh? I do think that there are times where we need to practice and observe fascist regime rule sets to get order and make sure shit happens. What's wrong with fucking strong nationalism? What's wrong with caring about country over the people? Well, over the individual, right? What's wrong with giving a fuck about your country and having a strong sense of pride, right? Here's the shit that they won't tell you in history. This is what they won't tell you. Your boy Top H took Germany after World War I from the poorest country, okay? From the poorest fucking country in Germany, in Europe, that was absolutely destroyed after the Versailles Agreement. So after Germany lost World War I and got decimated, right? Because that's a whole other situation. They basically brought the Rothschilds and a bunch of other bankers that are them boys. They essentially were able to get the United States into the war, and they ended up winning. But after Germany lost, they had to sign something called the Versailles Agreement. The Versailles Agreement basically made it where Germany couldn't have an army of a certain size, and they were paying crippling reparations, okay? The dollar was so weak that they would wheelbarrow Deutschmarks, right? And they couldn't even buy fucking bread. That's how bad the inflation was. Okay? So then, your boy, Mustache Man, okay, comes in, creates a fascist state, creates a dollar backed on labor, right? And revitalizes the fucking economy. It went from the poorest country, post-World War I, to the strongest country right around World War II, before World War II, in the 30s. This is a fact. Any historian will tell you this. Revitalized the German economy, completely revitalized it through strong nationalism, pride, and basically putting their country first. And this is a fact. Even historians will tell you this. This isn't like some fucking propaganda shit. Like, he was on the cover of Times magazine. Literally revitalized the country. Right? So, there are times, the point I'm trying to make is, there are times where you will have to adopt certain government characteristics to get shit done. The problem with the Democrats is they think, oh yeah, let's just go ahead and be democratic with a bunch of raging morons that want to destroy the city. No. You must utilize authoritarianism to a degree, fascism to a degree, get these niggas off the street, then you can return things to normal. You have to create order. But the problem with these Democrats is they think, no, we just don't want to escalate. We don't want to make things worse. But what ends up happening? They destroy the city anyway. I got an interesting story to tell you guys. So Stu Peters, right? As you guys know, he's controversial podcaster. But the point is that he told me a very interesting story. So the day that George Floyd was captured and arrested and died, right, by Chauvin and the Minneapolis police department, on that day, he was actually out apprehending fugitives. He had like a business where he would like go out and apprehend fugitives, right? And they had police radios. So when the George Floyd shit happened, they were a couple blocks away and they came to actually assist. They were there helping the police secure the perimeter when a crowd started to form around Floyd. And what ended up happening was when Floyd died, he saw the beginning of the city starting to mobilize, okay? And Tim Walz was reluctant to bring out the National Guard. Well, what ended up happening was, by the next night, they were torching the fucking police station. And they told the police not to engage the crowd. So they basically were throwing Molotov cocktails, destroying cars, whatever, and they were telling them to stand back, not to do anything, right? Very limited enforcement action. Then, when Walz realized, damn, I can't get this under control, and Minneapolis was on fucking fire, he brought in the National Guard. But when he brought in the National Guard, they weren't allowed to carry ammunition in their rifles, okay? So what ended up happening was one of the rioters noticed this, that the rifles were all dry, and he told all the other rioters, hey, just so you know, these niggas are neutered. They don't got nothing. And what did they do? Escalate even more so, right? And they barely got the city under control. Took them weeks. I know a girl that was in Minneapolis when this was going on. She has a medical condition. And she got an allergic reaction. And she almost fucking died. Right? She didn't have her EpiPen or some shit like that. She called 911. Bro, it took them hours to show up because the police could not respond. It took them hours. Right? So why am I telling you guys this story? I'm telling you guys this story because Democrats and liberals want to sit here and put fascism as a bad thing or authoritarianism as a bad thing. There are times when the government is going to need to take absolute power to bring fucking things back in order. Okay? And this is what happens a lot of times when you're in these blue liberal cities where you don't enforce the law, you're not hard on crime, you let them fucking do whatever they want, you have illegal immigration sprawling out of everywhere. And what's up happening is these people become emboldened because they know that the law enforcement is weak. They know that nothing's going to happen. They know that they're not going to deal with consequences. In California, guys, up until recently, if you stole something for $1,000 or less, you would not go to fucking jail, man. So looting was all over the place. I kid you not, chat. Across California, if you were stealing from stores under $1,000, they would not even waste their time to go after you. And I tell you guys this so you guys understand the emboldened mindset of criminals and degenerates. So when Trump went to go do this immigration raid, and 1 in 4, like half of, like 70% of LA is like Hispanic or something like that, and there's a lot of illegal aliens that live there, of course they're going to rebel. You have a lot of illegal aliens that feel like they're impervious. That on top of that, you got rampant fucking crime where crooks are stealing and nothing happens to them. You got a police force that's too fucking cucked to do anything. You got a mayor that's a pussy, and you got a fucking governor that's a pussy, where they want to go ahead and democracy, woo, yeah, all this other shit. You can't fight, you can't deal with these fucking hooligans like this. They don't deserve a democracy. All right? You need totalitarianism sometimes to get these niggas in line. Sorry. The democracy is reserved for those people that are civil and not fucking scumbags. These idiots have no order. So therefore, we will create the order for you. And this is what Democrats don't fucking get. Not everyone is the same. And not everyone deserves the same treatment. Some of these niggas got to get put in fucking jail and get hit upside the head with a fucking nightstick so they realize, hey, motherfucker, we're not here to play around with you dumbass niggas. There's laws. This isn't Mexico. This isn't South America. This isn't North Africa. This isn't your shit-ass homeland. We got fucking rule of law over here, motherfucker. Okay? Now, this might be too fucked up for you guys to hear. Some of you guys, oh, Byron, oh my God, man, oh, fascism. Oh, well. LA is beyond saving because of this whole mindset of we're too scared to enforce the law. We're too scared. We don't want to be a fascist state. We don't want to be dictators. Ah. Well, now look what you've done. You've been putting off having law and order in your state and your cities for so goddamn long. Now look what you're dealing with. See, this is why I needed to be the Führer. Honestly, bro, make me the Führer, nigga. I'd have this shit done in a day. Bruh, make me Führer. We would have this shit done in a day, bro. We would have that shit done in a day. Bro, let me put an order out. If you're outside, you're getting arrested, bitch-ass niggas. Oh, yeah. I'm ordering a bunch of zip. I'm putting in an order. This is what I would do, bro. Real talk, man. I'll put in a big-ass order of handcuffs and zip ties, and I'll tell the police, yo, if anybody's on the streets after this time, they're getting fucking arrested. That's number one. And then number two, all you dumbasses that want to sit there and hurl rocks and shit, all y'all niggas are getting arrested. Every single one. No fucking doubt about it. And all of you are getting federally fucking prosecuted. I'm telling the AUSA's office, all of them are going down for 18 U.S.C. 111. So they do 80% of the fucking time. Fuck out of here, man. You got to go hard on these niggas, man. You got to make an example out of these fucks. Orale, way, yeah, fuck the police, man. Yeah, just throw the rocks. Yeah, we got him, yeah. Okay, motherfucker, we're going to see what happens when we got you. Okay? Because I'll tell you this, when we show up at your fucking front door, it's not going to be fun. Fucking knock on that bitch. Who is it? Ice, motherfucker. Bong! Going back to fucking Mexico City, nigga. No, please, no. You going back? No, yeah. You and fucking Pancho and Megalita and all you niggas are going back. Fuck out of here, man. Go back to fucking Mexico with your fucking Jewish president, man. The fuck out of here. The fuck you think this is? It's the United States of America. Holy shit, man. Guys, we gotta go hard on these niggas, bro. We gotta go hard on these guys. And the problem is that Newsome and the mayor are too fucking soft. They're too fucking scared. If you want to take California back, you're gonna need the very fascism that these motherfuckers cry about all the time. You want to know why they hate fascism? Because they know that's what would fix the problem. You don't need fascism in red states. You don't need fascism and totalitarianism in civil cities that are red run. You don't need that shit. Why? Because they just know how to act. They know that there's consequences if niggas want to ride on the streets and act like idiots. But you need this in the big-ass blue cities that are filled with liberal fucking morons and Antifa and BLM and all these other fucking left-wing terrorist groups. And that's what I call them. I call them terrorist groups. You got to deal with them accordingly. These motherfuckers are enemies of the state. They are enemies of the state. And a lot of them aren't even legally here. A lot of these niggas that are in the streets waving the fucking Mexican flag. Oh, orale, way, yeah. Fuck the police. Niggas don't even belong here. And we're over here giving them all this. Oh, yeah, you guys can protest peacefully. Yeah, just keep the strike shit. It's okay. It's okay. Just don't hurt anybody. Fuck that. Fuck that, man. Bruh. Make me fear, nigga. I'm going to be rolling down the streets in a tank. I'm going to be rolling down the streets in a fucking tank. All these niggas are getting arrested. Zip tie them, fucking grab them. We're throwing you motherfuckers into jail, man. You guys are sitting there. I'm suspended habeas corpus for like a week. All you motherfuckers are gonna get to experience what jail's like. I'm suspending that shit. You wanna be fucking funny? You think this is a fucking game? Huh? You don't wanna go back to Mexico? Okay. We're gonna give you a taste of Mexico right here, motherfucker. No rights, nigga. In the jail. In the jail. Fuck out of here. And I'm gonna pull like 1 million of them together too. Hey, we're tight here in the jail. What do I do? Shut up, motherfucker. You should be happy that you're even in a jail in America right now. You're dumb monkey ass. I should be fucking sending you back to Mexico right now as we speak. You should be happy you're even in the jail, nigga. God damn, bro. Holy, man. Anyway.
He told voters and
sometimes fascism is good, man. And everybody else is too fucking scared to say this shit. Fuck that, we're rolling with the tanks. Exactly, bro. That's the only way we're gonna bring law and order to these idiots, bro. Holy, man. Telling you, bro. Shout out to DPG, gifted 25 subs. Shout out to you, DPG. Real nigga, man. Love you. Zedra said 700 Marines touchdown in LA right now. Bro, I'm telling you. Yo, the fact that they gotta bring Marine Corps is crazy, bro. Crazy. Look, man. Yo, Trump, Pete Hegseth, look, man, look at me. Look at me. Contact me. Give me all the power to run this operation to clean up LA. Give me all the power for 72 hours. I will have this shit done immediately. 72 hours, that's all I need, bro. 72 hours, I need 1 million zip ties. And I will fix this fucking problem for you guys immediately. All right? 72 hours. And I need you to suspend habeas corpus for that 72 hours as well. And I'll fix this fucking problem for you. Trust me. I will clean up LA that fast. You give me all the feds. You give me all the fucking military guys. I'm going to position them niggas in certain strategic positions in the city. We're going to cut off all their infrastructure strongholds. And we're going to put these motherfuckers in jail and send a strong fucking message. Okay? This shit could go from America to Germany real quick. All right? So that's how we got to fucking deal with these idiots. We got to bring some goddamn law and order here. I could be the bad guy. Just blame everything on me. It's fine. I could be the hated guy. Oh, you got this against guy. You just fucking arresting everybody. Whatever. I'll be the bad guy. But give me the power for 72 hours and I'll fucking clean up LA immediately. The gang problem? Gone. The illegal aliens? Eradicated. The Chinese niggas that are running crime? Gone. We get rid of those chopstick niggas too. Bro. Man. I need to run for office, bro. This shit getting crazy. Give me 1 million zip ties and the police, and we will handle this problem. These bitch ass niggas aren't even worthy of metal handcuffs. Give me 1 million zip ties and we will handle this problem, bro. That's all we need. All these dumbass chicks running around LA protesting with their keffiyehs. Down with the patriarchy! Down with fascism! Okay, bitch. Okay. Shut the fuck up. Boop. Zip tie. Sit on the fucking street. You go sit there for a bit. Fucking have your dumb ass just sit there on the curb while we go get all your other stupid ass leftist retard friends. Down with the patriarchy. Yep. Shut up. Zipped.
Iowa this. This is 2023 now. He told Iowa voters that he was prevented from using the military to suppress violence in cities and states during his first term. Said if the issue came up again, that he is, quote, not waiting. And then you've got these Democratic leaders. They're drawing their lines in the sand. We're against Trump, and Trump's the problem here, and here's how it went.
A lot of these peaceful protests are being generated because the President of the United States is sowing chaos and confusion.
It was peaceful, and of course, you escalate the situation. Now you're talking about bringing in the National Guard to military.
Look at that. They don't want to take accountability. Like, bro, oh, so are the people that are acting like idiots, are you telling me that they're not adults with their own agency? This is the problem, right? These guys are so fucking soft, man. They're so goddamn soft. Bro, just, nigga. Make me the fucking captain and see what happens. All right? Give me the fucking keys to LA. I just need 72 hours. 72 hours and 1 million zip ties. And we will fucking have this shit done immediately. Okay? Make me the fucking captain. All right? That's all we need. Put a real nigga in there. Okay? I'm going in there with the OSS. And we're going to fucking fix this problem immediately. All the Miguels, all the tortas, they're all going to jail. Oh, you're outside? Jail. Oh, you're throwing rocks? More jail. Oh, you're vandalizing buildings? Jail. Oh, you're here illegally? Jail. File with deportation. Oh, you're a feminist? Jail. What the fuck, man? Some bullshit, bro. Bro, it's literally, you know what I'll call it? I'll call it Operation Zip Tie. That's what I'll call it, bro. Everybody's getting zip tied. You bitch ass niggas, half of you don't even deserve metal cuffs. Operation Zip Tie. Man.
The situation, it's going to get worse. It's unnecessary again.
We do not need to see our city torn apart. And the idea that the federal
See, that's the problem, right? Right there. We don't need to see our city torn apart. Who's tearing the city apart? It ain't the cops, stupid. See, this is basic. This is politicians not wanting to place the blame on their constituents because they're so afraid of not getting voted for. That's the fucking problem, right? This is her skirting accountability from her ridiculous fucking civilian class that has no rule of law or concept.
Government that should be assisting us is a contributing factor, I think is very tragic.
Oh, I want you to react to all that. Roll this video too. A lot of foreign flags, a lot of Mexican flags, and we don't know if they're from Mexico. We don't know if they're...
Yeah, they are. They are from Mexico. That's why we got to send these niggas back. Remind them of their shitty ass country, why it sucks and why they left in the first place. These unappreciative dickheads.
Illegals who are here, or they're just agitators in the crowd trying to stoke the flames, in this case, literally.
Yeah, you know, as I watch those governors, I sit there and think the National Guard escalatory. I was privy to a governor's call where it was none other than General Milley, who's no friend with President Trump these days, talking about how studies show the National Guard in a overwhelming presence actually de-escalates. Mayor Karen Bass, I watched her last night say it's not unusual for a few people to engage in violence. That's not the baseline this country expects. It's not unusual for a few people to engage in violence is not what we should expect from our elected officials. And I would also note a word of caution to Democrats. In 2020, the underlying fact pattern of those riots was something Americans were very sympathetic to. People hated seeing that video of George Floyd. They were with many of the peaceful protesters. This is a different situation. Illegal immigration, the heart of the country, is very much with President Trump. The underlying fact pattern here is not one that's going to smile upon Democrats should they take the wrong side in this, the side of violent rioters.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I take away from this is about speed and not letting it get even more out of hand. Because what Jonathan Hunt just said is nobody wants to predict it. Everyone hopes it'll get better. But if officers are getting attacked, you have to stamp that out.
Yeah, when they're caught under.
Yeah, you got to hit them hard, bro. Like this is sitting around and waiting. Like, no, man. All right, let's read some of these chats. Lima says, I am a Mexican American and I'm disappointed in my people for hating this country and praising a nation they left. Most of them aren't even illegals anyway. Yeah, I know, bro. Stupid, right? You can't make a sandwich? Jail. Yeah, facts. Garuko. Glenn Lawrence says, bro, I almost hit like 4 of them yesterday going to my tattoo appointment. They wanted to piss me off when I blocked traffic. I was like, look, Paco, look, Juan, you could either go cut the grass or lose your ass. Yep, niggas are retarded, bro. And then we got here, touch grass too much says, as it stands, do you trust the government? If you're a fear, would you change? If I was a fear, bro, like I told you, man, I'd fucking fix this problem in just a couple of days, man. Give me 72 hours, bro. And we'd have this shit fixed immediately. Like, if you're on the streets, you're getting arrested. It just goes like that. Let's see. I think I read all those chats. Okay, let me make sure I didn't miss any chats on Rumble now. Myron Fuhrer, appreciate that, Milan. Keem chillin', I'm sending them to the gym 5+ years if they're on the streets. Yeah, all the fat people would put them in a fat camp. Mal will be the first nigga Fuhrer. You know it, bro. Fuck that, we rolling with tanks. Yup, you know it. What you doing if you was the governor of California? A lot better than Newsome, because he's too scared. As far as I'm aware, Top H created National Socialism with difference of Benito's fascism. Yeah, it is different. Fascism is more or less everything within state, nothing against the state, nothing beyond the state. Basically, absolute control of every aspect of your life. MBO says, Myron, you know Vanunu isn't allowed to leave Israel or speak to foreigners. Watch his interview with 60 Minutes. I think he's gone. He's out of Israel now. Milan says, people from outside USA may be uninformed, but can you explain, Myron, how state law and federal law works in cases like riots or BLM in the past? As far as I know, states give great independence, so presidents or feds will be involved only on direct requests of the governor. I mean, look, obviously the federal raids is going to be a Fed thing, and then the state, enforces state laws because only the feds have the authority to enforce immigration law. But a lot of the times the states do assist. But obviously in California they don't because they're very pussy. Estabars, if I wasn't broke, I would give you, Myron, all my money. Oh, got that one before. Don't worry about that, bro. Milan says, what do you think, Myron, of these riots, similar tactics to deleting Jay's, what? No, it's not the same, bro. Unforgiven, $1, appreciate that. Unforgiven, donated, $30, I appreciate that, bro. Did you see attack choppers flying around? I did see that earlier. I did see that. Quayam says, Myron, I have an OFM business. I want to expand my outreach for getting new models. I was planning on joining CastleClub for that. Think you can help me with that in CastleClub? Yeah, we have one weekly Zoom call. So yeah, man, ask questions about that. That's the beauty of CastleClub, bro. You get to leverage the community, bro. And Steven Heitzman gifted 5 subs, 10 subs actually. So I appreciate that, man. Let's see. All right.
Freeway.
All right, let's see what the latest is with the riots, and then we're gonna, because that was from this morning. Let me see. Marines, I think, just got in from what you said, right, guys? So let's see here.
First of all, starting with the fact that authorities are telling, U.S. officials are telling our team at the Pentagon, again, they confirmed 700 Marines. They're coming from 29 Palms in California. They've been ordered to assist in Los Angeles. They think they're going to be here in the next 24 hours. What's your assessment of that move there?
It's a little surprising. I didn't see that coming, but we talked about it, but I didn't think it would happen. So it's a little surprising that it has. Mr. Heggs has said it, and now they're deploying. Generally speaking, in these type of situations, we just use the National Guard. And I'll tell you, Kana, we've used them time and time again in New York and around the country. They've used them as well. They come in and they stabilize. So if you have government property or government operations going on, they'll stabilize that by standing guard. So that's what I think the Marines will do. That's what
the thing is that they're utilizing these military assets, guys, a lot of the times to augment security at, sensitive buildings. That's really what it comes down to, because they can't afford to let these fucking guys get into some of these federal buildings. Could you imagine if these rioters got into like a federal building, right? All the classified information in there, everything else like that. So a lot of these military guys are going to probably be protecting critical infrastructure locations.
National Guard is doing. I don't think it'll go any further than that. And here's an issue here going forward into the.
But they're not going to be involved with like arresting people, questioning people, any of that stuff. They're going to be maybe just like a force multiplier, right? Deterrence, that type of shit. But the law enforcement actions of arresting people, et cetera, that's still going to be on the law enforcement.
Right now, they're in the afternoon there, but going forward, you have a police chief who said he was overwhelmed. He needs help. Hopefully, he's getting that. You also have the federal officers assaulted on Saturday, which really started the ratchet thing, this thing, as well as prosecution. We see something going on. It's not over yet. Hopefully, this will end peaceably, and tonight will be a different story than it was last night, with all the property damage, the back and forth against the police. 2 different strategies going forward. But
look at this shit. All these guys jail, bro. Yo, make me fair, man. All these niggas are getting zip ties. You want to stand here with your stupid mask? Zip tie. You want to stand there with your dumbass glasses and little blue bandana? Zip tie. You want to sit here and be like, oh yeah, woo, let's go ahead and cry some more? Zip tie. This weirdo right here? Zip tie. Like, all these fucking whack jobs, zip ties. But bro, it's Monday morning. What are y'all niggas doing? Go to work. What the fuck, man? These guys are out here protesting still and fucking rioting. It's like, bro, do any of you guys got fucking jobs in California? What the hell, man? It's Monday. Damn.
But now, with this extra deployment here, I think they're just going to solidify government buildings. My guess.
Told you guys, it's absolutely to protect government buildings.
Yeah.
Which is what we've heard the National Guard troops would do as well to really protect those federal buildings. But you touched on a couple of things here that I do want to highlight. One, we know at least 5 officers were injured. Another thing that we heard from the police chief as well, though, in Los Angeles, he said that days 2 and 3 in a civil unrest generally tend to turn more violent. So it sounds like that's something that we saw last night. Do you think that moving into day 4 today, we might see a change there and that it may not get so violent tonight?
No, listen, the chief is, if you don't stem that the first night with significant deployment, you're going to have day 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you have to go out there immediately when this happens and kind of stem this violence here. So I
yeah, see, if you go hard from the beginning, you just shut these guys up immediately. Because you guys got to remember that, like, there's only a few agitators, right? Like, most of these protesters are pussies, okay? They get hit with a little bit of mace. They get hit with a little bit of tear gas. They get hit with a little bit of nightstick. Niggas are gonna fold immediately. Okay, they're not really built like that. So once they start seeing people getting arrested and getting their asses kicked for like being idiots, they're gonna fucking chill out, right? So that's really what it comes down to. They should have went harder from the beginning. But again, since California are such cowards, as well as all blue states are cowards, they're scared of offending their constituents. This winds up happening. This happened with the BLM riots. This happened in Seattle. This happened in Portland. All these cities that are Democrat run are too fucking scared to go hard on these rioters. Too scared. And what's up happening is you concede. They get emboldened, and then they keep doing the bullshit. That's how it goes, man. That's how it goes. That's why you have to just, they act up. You got to escalate all the way up here. Bang! Hit them like a fucking freight truck. Off rip. You got to send a strong, clear, decisive message. We're not going to tolerate this shit. But they always fucking puss out, man.
I don't think it's...
This is why the cities that get burned down to the ground, they're always liberal cities. LA, New York, Portland, Seattle. Every time, dude. Every fucking time. San Francisco. Dumps. Complete dumps. Because their local government is too fucking scared to offend them.
It's going to get any better than the last night. Hopefully he has a resource. And it's really important to understand what you're seeing right now. This is just, you have people presently, not yesterday, but presently just protesting in an orderly fashion. No problems, First Amendment, everybody's fine with that. At nighttime is a different strategy. You have people come out.
Yeah, and nighttime is worse because that's when they do the looting. Guys, they looted a bunch of stores yesterday, by the way. They started looting stores like crazy last night. Because they get more emboldened, man.
Looking for trouble, which is what they had last night. So he needs a different strategy. I hope he has it in place. I hope he has the extra resources. Because yesterday he did a great job in clearing out that area.
And our reporters on the ground really saw the same thing. They saw protests and they saw the tide really turn as the sun started to fall. Different people showed up. They were wearing different things. They were prepared in a different way. And so we'll certainly be watching closely to see how this unfolds today. Melissa, our thanks to you, and Robert, our thanks to you as always. We'll be checking in with you throughout the day.
Man. Okay. Anything else with... Here's a live feed. Of course, families belong together with their stupid hat. The people united will defend immigrant families. It's not about immigrants, it's about illegal immigrants. But of course people are stupid. And of course it's a fat person saying this. Fucking mayhem, dude. No, the last thing anybody needs is a fucking snack. You see how fat everybody is here, bitch? Shut up. Does anybody want a snack? Shut up. Look at this. The Trump fascist regime. See, I told you guys, Democrats are fucking terrified of this word fascism, bro. Them niggas are terrified of it. This fucking guy probably doesn't, he can't even spell fascist, man. Fucking, bro. Look at them waving their fucking Mexican flags, man. That's all I hear with these fucking idiots. Looks like this is a government building of some kind. Hold on, let me look. Is this it? $300 North Los Angeles? Okay, let's see here. Yeah, it's probably close by. Because they're clearly pissed off about some shit. Look at that. They're coming out with the riot shields now. Back up. Bruh. Bro, this is insane, man. See, like all these idiots that are sitting here right in front of the building, bro, just arrest them, man. Just arrest them, bro. Like, they're on the fucking property. They're being a fucking nuisance. Like, it's one thing to protest, but it's like, bro, protest somewhere that's safe, that isn't affecting the integrity or the security of the building. Bro, get these niggas out of here, man. See, bro, make me fear. Operation Zip Tie. All these niggas are getting fucking grabbed up. And the National Guard can't do shit. They don't have police powers. They just sit there with their fucking riot shields, make sure that they don't come in. That's really all they can do. I don't know what this guy's doing here. I think he's trying to get them to push back a bit. So he has a little bit of sense.
Just don't touch, man. Don't pace this line.
See, of course, this dumb female has to do this shit, right? Like with her stupid mask on, bro. Yo, liberals are so fucking insufferable, bro. Holy shit, man. So insufferable. Dude, Caucasian white women are literally like the worst when it comes to being woke fucking retards. Look, even this fucking guy, Mr. Flying Coyote over here, even this guy looks like a Native American. He's even has some sense to be like, hey, bitch, chill out, man. See, here's a protest with a little bit of sense. Yo, the Caucasian Karens, man. Or it's a dude, one of the two. I don't fucking know what that creature is. Bruh, this shit is crazy. Oh.
National Guard out of LA! National Guard out of LA! Our streets!
Yeah, so this looks like the downtown region where all the government buildings are at. So obviously they're concentrated here for obvious reasons.
Bombocat!
Bro. All right, this shit is retarded, bro. This is absolutely crazy that they're just like letting this happen, man. They need to get those fuckers out of there, dude. That's the problem. And this is what happens when you're soft on people being idiots, chat. This is literally what happens, man. Absolutely crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. This is what blue politicians get you. Can't even protect your fucking downtown. So, hey, it is what it is. All right, so let's go ahead, guys. We're going to transition. Well, we'll come back and periodically check on this shit going on here. Let's get into the Diddy case.
All right, welcome back, everybody. So we have with us Elizabeth Milner, Law and Crimes in Court.
As you guys know, this chick Elizabeth, she was in the courtroom. She's in the courtroom, so she gives some pretty good stuff. I met her while I was out there, too.
Reporter who is in court today for all of the dramatic testimony of Jane, alleged victim number 2 in this case. And Elizabeth, it's good to see you. I was saying, I think the theme of her testimony is trying to show reluctance.
Hey guys, also do me a favor. If you guys are watching the stream right now, right? You're watching on YouTube. We got what? Over 5,000, almost, yeah, but basically 4,000 plus you guys on YouTube and Rumble alone. Do your boy a favor, man. I'm live on Kick right now. Also, open up a Kick link, man. You can watch the stream on Kick as well. Helps me out quite a bit. Watch it on Kick or on Rumble, because as you guys know, or open up a tab at least, because on my Rumble Ninjas, open up a tab as well, because YouTube does not pay me because they're a bunch of fucking dickheads. But you guys are still getting 4K really good quality on YouTube, so smash that like button for me, and then open up a tab as well. I'd appreciate that. So yeah, as you can see, LA is fucking burning down. Marines touchdown. National Guard are posted up in front of government buildings trying to push these idiots away. Let's go ahead and see what's going on. The latest with your boy, the Diddler.
Right, expressing reluctance.
And just so you guys know, update, yesterday his team filed a waiver, a motion to dismiss the case. So let me see here.
That she did not want to engage in these sexual activities with Sean Combs, more specifically with other men in front of Sean Combs, through a series of text messages, and there's voice notes. There's a lot to condense here, and also, as we were talking about, a lot of complicating factors. What were some of the highlights? What do you think are...
And guys, don't leave YouTube. Just watch, just like open up a tab and watch on there. You don't got to leave YouTube. Just open up a tab and watch over there.
Some of the points of her showing, or allegedly showing, she did not want to participate in these sexual activities, these hotel nights, these debauchery nights. What stood out to you?
Yeah, well, a lot of it stood out to me, and it was kind of a slow morning as far as just presenting these mountain of text messages to not only the witness so she could recall everything that she had spoken to with Sean Combs, but also for the jury to kind of understand where I think the prosecution was ultimately leading up to. So, for example, they were showing text exhibits from September 17th of 2023, where Jane was testifying how Diddy was kind of the only one making her perform for her at home, or for him at her home. And she said, I felt like he made such a big purchase, and this was something that I had to do. And that big purchase was her rent, which was about $10,000.
So Diddy was paying her rent, giving her money, all this other stuff. And she felt like she was obligated to it. But bro, this comes back to just female agency, man.
Month, and how Diddy kept
never want to take accountability for anything.
Kind of throwing this in her face. And we see another text exhibit from that same time frame where Jane was saying, I wish we could go back to when we first started dating. I opened Pandora's box and can't close it. One night of fun turned into our entire relationship. I'm crying as I'm writing this. Then you see things like, or not you see, because again, we're not seeing these exhibits. So everything that I'm writing is just transcription from what the prosecution and the witness are kind of going over. So Diddy is replying, girl, stop, let's talk. And then he sends her an audio message, and then you hear Diddy kind of with this raspy voice where he's like, I'm...
All right, ninjas, I changed the thing to just chatting. I see you guys saying politics is not the move, so it's fine. I just switched it from politics to just chatting.
Sick in bed, the message that you sent me, what's the problem? We have an actual open relationship, what's the problem? And that Diddy never talked with Jane about her doing these hotel...
And just so you guys know, they're alleging that this Jane woman is 50 Cent's baby mom.
Nights in the particular audio message when she was kind of telling him about her feelings as far as not doing it and throwing up after one particular hotel.
And just so you guys know, the freak offs, like I've explained before, basically it's where the girls have sex with a bunch of escorts and Diddy sits there watching. Diddy is a in court they call it voyeurism, but let's just be honest, guys, it's just cuckoldry. He basically wants to watch dudes have sex with his girls. Cassie and this Jane Doe woman are two of them.
Night or debauchery night or freak off party where it was supposed to be a sober party, and while that sounds very nice and genuine, she's explained that at this sober party that she had to have sex with 4 escorts, and between escort number 3 and escort number 4 she threw up, and then Diddy said, okay, well, it's all out of your system, kind of let's go get back to it. And so
bro, this nigga crazy.
We saw more
could you imagine your girl's throwing up from like smashing random dudes raw, and you're like, okay, it's cool, just keep going. Incredible, man.
Messages.
And just so you guys know, during this time, Diddy and them were on drugs and using a lot of alcohol and shit like that. So this was like a very dark time in this guy's life. He was like abusing the fuck out of drugs and shit. Not that it gives him an excuse, but it's more of a sobering lesson how bad booze is. Also, just so you guys know, we're running a special, CastleClub right now, 50% off. CC717 is the code to get in, guys. Jump in there. We got Brandon Carter coming on the show later on today. for Fresh and Fit. That's going to be at 8 p.m. It's going to be a good time. So make sure you guys get in there and take advantage of the sale that we got going on. And then if you guys are a member of Castle Club, I'm giving you a special offer where you can get into OSS at a fraction of the cost, only $4 for the first month, $55 for the year. The membership is only $10 a month, so it's never going to break the bank. You can pretty much set it, forget it. First month is $4. After that, it goes to 10. Or you can get in for $55 for the year. Use JFK code JFK911 or them boys. Either or will give you the discount depending on what you want. I'll drop it in the Castle Club chat for you guys. It's only for CC guys. So make sure that you get in there if you are also a member of Castle Club. But it's only offered right now to Castle Club guys. It's not offered to the public. So I'm dropping the link right there only for you guys in CC. Join in, use those discount codes, and let's take the OSS to the next level.
In reference to one particular trip in September of 2023.
Scope says, I don't support these protests, but the timing of these raids seems too convenient, especially after ICE has been focused on cracking down on criticism of Israel instead of deporting illegals. Then they changed course right after the Palantir news. Yeah, I mean, you could make that argument that this is going to be justification for Palantir. For those of you that are unaware, Palantir is a software made by a certain guy, okay, named Alex Karp, okay, and basically, it's software that law enforcement uses and militaries to conduct mass surveillance.
Where Diddy told her,
and Trump mentioned that he wants every U.S. citizen to be in Palantir,
that he wanted to just take her to New York. They would spend some time together. Jane had thought that, okay, we are going to spend some time together. It's going to be a nice time. She was sending him places for them to go as far as restaurants to go to here in the city. But she was also kind of texting him some explicit things, such as, for example, Diddy was saying, okay, let's have a good time. Do you have your passport? And then Jane is responding, miss my pretty hard D. Yes, I have my passport. Baby, you turned me on so crazy. Can't wait. And Jane was saying that Diddy texted her on the flight. And
here's the thing, they've been like kind of doing this with Cassie as well, saying like, yo, you girls wanted this shit, you know, because they're getting the money, bro. They're getting that money.
At this point, she got particularly upset because Diddy was asking her where Cabral is, and Cabral was one of the escorts that they used. And so Diddy, again, Jane thinking at the time she was flying over to New York for just spending time with her boyfriend, and she was saying that Diddy was wanting an entertainer for that night, or entertainment for movie night. And movie night wasn't going to AMC theaters, which I personally love to do, but movie night was them watching their sexually explicit videos together and their recordings together of these freak-off nights. And so Diddy was saying, Jane was saying, I just remember taking deep breaths and feeling disappointed and defeated.
Bro, could you, so Diddy invites her to New York to hang out with him, and they're just watching videos of her getting banged by escorts. Yo, the diddler is bro, this nigga, man.
And so Jane responded in this particular message, just got to Wi-Fi again, not sure baby, in response to whether or not Cabral could fly into New York, because Cabral was somebody that was that resided in Atlanta. And so Diddy said, check red phone. Okay, I have a surprise if that's okay, and just one. And so Jane was saying that Diddy was going to introduce her to someone new, and so that she said that she hated it. She hated this entire concept, and she's getting pretty emotional while she's on the witness stand, kind of recalling that again. She thought that the two were just going to go for a date night. She was going to enjoy her trip to New York City, and then it ended up being another situation where she had to participate in a hotel night. And so Diddy said, sending picture now, and that picture being of an escort, or a picture actually that came from somebody at Cowboys for Angels, and Jane was responding, it's not loaded.
And Cowboys for Angels, guys, by the way, that's the same service that Cassie would use to get the escorts, okay? That is what Cassie and this other chick, and what Diddy would say is like, hey, you get the hotels ready. It was either be the girls or his assistants get the hotels ready with the lube, aka the Astroglide, the baby oil, all this other shit, and basically, you know, contact escorts from this website, Cowboys and Angels. It was really a strip club. Sorry, it was a stripper Rolodex of men, but they would utilize it to find the escorts that would, you know, hook up with them.
About to land now, and then Jane texted Diddy the places that they could go for dinner, and she was like, I just really wanted to have dinner with him. And so then you see some text messages from
that nigga didn't want no dinner. That boy wanted to fucking be gooning, okay? He wanted to goon, man.
September 18th of 2023 from Jane and Cabral, because Jane was explaining that an escort was coming over to the hotel, and she didn't like this particular escort, so she ended up sending a message over to Cabral. And we hear about these messages where Jane is saying, hey, you want to come to NYC for a day? And Cabral said, yes, I would love to, love. And then Jane says, okay, let me set it up now. Cabral sent all his information to her, and then Cabral ended up coming to the Trump hotel for another hotel night. And again, these are messages from 2023, so fairly pretty recent.
So what does that do? That makes her culpable. Like, hey, you're over here messaging the escorts. What's going on here? Right? Is it really? And mind you, guys, I'm almost certain this is the defense on cross, like kind of attacking her story.
But as far as just the lead up to it, and Jane was explaining how Cabral landed, they ended up doing a hotel night, even though she didn't want to do a hotel night. And I think what the prosecution there was kind of sprinkled.
Also, the other thing also that you guys need to know is that, you know, she was dating Diddy right up until he got arrested at the end of 2024. As you guys know, he got arrested in November of 2024.
In that this was sex trafficking by fraud, or at least transportation to engage in prostitution, because she is flying out this entertainer, as she calls him, from Atlanta to New York City, and then they do a hotel night, and then they slowly start to get into the text messages from October, later into November. And what happens in November of 2023, as many of us who have been following this case day in and day out know, is when Cassie dropped her jaw-dropping lawsuit. So in terms of just Jane kind of explaining Cassie's lawsuit while she was on the stand, she was also getting kind of emotional.
And just so you guys know, we confirmed that the HSI investigation actually occurred right after Cassie dropped her lawsuit. As you guys know, she dropped her lawsuit at the end of 2023. Okay? So HSI came in and started their case after the lawsuit was dropped. So what I predict is Cassie she dropped her lawsuit, and then she went to the feds after to make a complaint about this, and that's when they initiated their investigation. And as you guys know, Diddy ended up settling with Cassie for $20 million on the lawsuit. $20 million. And then she gained another $10 million, and this came out on trial, from the Intercontinental Hotel. She sent them a demand. She didn't sue them outwardly, but she basically sent them a demand, and they kind of capitulated, and they gave her 10M. So she got $30 million from this shit, chat, from this whole ordeal. And the defense actually asked her, you had a music tour set up and you dropped it. Why? And basically she was like, and they exposed her because she got $10 million from Intercontinental and $20 million from Diddy. So, hey man, you can't say money wasn't involved here.
There too, kind of explaining how there were 3 particular pages in her 35-page complaint or so that really stood out to Jane, because she felt like she was just recalling her entire story. And so we did see a lot of messages this morning, and then we were slowly kind of getting into the Cassie aspect of it. But it was just interesting the way I think the prosecution was kind of laying this out, and then we're kind of like, okay, well, where is this going after we're seeing these same messages? But then we finally got to the destination.
And that's the picture from Jamaica here. They claimed in this picture.
And then we're kind of like,
okay, and they showed this picture in court as well. This is after he had beat her. I think this was from her movie premiere that later on that night. So they showed a bunch of these pictures.
Okay, well, where is this going after we're seeing?
And then she claims that she had these sunglasses on. This is when they were in Jamaica, because she had gotten beaten that day and she had like a black eye. That's why she wore those sunglasses that night. So.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh.
Yeah.
These same messages, but then we finally got to the destination I think the prosecution wanted to go to, and it seems like it'll pick up from there after the lunch break.
A lot of points I want to mention to this. So the big thing we're taking away, it seemed to me this was a bombshell. There is at least one message where she basically expressed to Sean Combs that she was consenting. That she goes, I know I was consenting like I say on tape. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, so
I'm going to...
And that's what a lot of the defense is going to attack her on is, hey, you know, was this consensual or not? Were you really being forced? And that's what the defense has been showing. That's why they show these text messages between them.
This is called me filibustering. Because Elizabeth takes incredible notes. And there's so much activity happening in that courtroom. So this was actually towards, I think, maybe in the last hour or so, it actually stopped me when I was reading this, because it's all about, was this consenting? Was this all consensual? And it seems the prosecution, you know, they had to fix this up a little bit. So talk to us about the circumstances of this message and what the prosecution asked Jane about it, and where. I mean, there's one thing to read it in the transcript. How did the jurors respond to this?
Yeah, so Jane was kind of explaining this after what had happened at this sobriety party. And again, this was essentially an orgy where Jane had to perform with various different men, about 4 different escorts, and even between escort 3 and 4, like I had just mentioned.
And like I explained to you guys before, your boy Diddy, he makes that shit like a fucking, like it's a freak off marathon, because what he'll do is he'll have it where one guy hooks up with her, and then after they finish, then he brings another escort. And they do this shit for hours, sometimes days with these freak-offs, man. And they call it sessions.
That she had gotten sick, she got nauseous, she threw up during this, and Diddy kind of told her to keep on going. And so she was explaining that after this party that she had, she got a UTI from this. She said that she was having.
Also, Cassie complained about getting UTIs as well, and also doing this stuff when she was on her period, which is absolutely fucking nuts.
PTSD from these sex nights. She was feeling very triggered around this time period, because around this time it was October, so a couple weeks before Cassie's lawsuit came out, and that Diddy would just kind of throw it back in her face that she booked the escorts too, something that she admitted while even on the stand, and that Jane was
So did Cassie. They also booked the escorts, which, bro, this is kind of where it gets weird, because as you guys know, they're charging him with RICO for the interstate transportation, right? Let's look at Diddy's actual indictment, right? So, what day was this one? Was this the first indictment? Let me look here. This was... So count 1, racketeering conspiracy, the Combs Enterprise. I think this was the first indictment. Okay, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, right? This is probably for Cassie. Transportation engaged in prostitution. So, like, basically what they're saying is like, yo, this guy Diddy was facilitating the, knowingly transported an individual in interstate and foreign commerce with the intent that the individual engaged in prostitution and attempted, aided, and abetted, and willfully caused the same, to wit, Combs transported, aided, and abetted, and willfully caused the transportation of female victims of commercial sex workers in interstate foreign commerce. Technically, the girls that worked for, like the girls that he was doing these freak-offs with, a lot of times they would contact escorts on his behalf, right? So this is a little weird. And I know that they probably ended up getting like proffers and shit like that where they don't have to get prosecuted, but man.
Explaining that she had told Diddy that he had placed these harmful men onto her, and she said, and then Diddy had said to her, talk to God, I'm going to pray for you. You're burning a bridge you aren't prepared to pay for, insinuating that he was kind of paying her rent. That's what she interpreted it to be. And so Jane said in the text message that she knew that she was consenting on the tape, but she said that she was uncomfortable, but she kept doing it because she loved him. And she said that she knew that she appeared to be excited and that Diddy would throw it in her face, that she appeared to be excited on these particular tapes. But according to her, she said,
hey guys, do me a favor. Don't ban people from the chat, man. Whether it's Rumble, YouTube, etc. Unless they're spamming, but like, don't ban people from the chat, guys. You guys know I like freedom of speech. Let niggas talk shit in chat if they want to talk shit in chat. It's fine.
She was really uncomfortable, and even at points, Jesse, while she's testifying, I feel like just the entire grasp of it all, she's really kind of processing it, even processing it to this day. And again, these messages from around 2023, and so Jane kind of wrote in her notes app, which she sometimes would kind of copy and paste, send them in a text message form, about her feelings about doing these hotel nights. So Jane wrote in her notes, for once today, I thought you were compassionate about this trauma. You have thousands of videos of me. I have PTSD. I'm feeling violated. And that Jane ended up seeing Diddy in person. Diddy comforted her at his Bel Air hotel. And so then Jane was explaining that there was an exhibit that was shown, again, that we can't see, but the jury saw it, the witness saw it, and the parties on both sides saw it. And Jane was explaining, in this moment, I felt supported by Sean, because it was a photo of her and Sean Combs together. She said that he understood me in this moment, and it was one of my favorite moments. And then afterwards, the two ended up spending time together. There was no drugs. It was just the two of them. But then Jane said that she was feeling anxious about Diddy's upcoming birthday, because when that note was sent, it's late October. And as we've been following this case, we now know Diddy's birthday, of course, to be November 4th. And so kind of leading up to this, she was saying that she was feeling anxious because she felt like she might have to possibly perform in another hotel night or debauchery night. But what she ended up doing was spending the night at home by herself, because Diddy ended up spending that birthday with his family. But I think what's interesting, and I think this might be a point that the defense will kind of talk to her about whenever they get that time to cross-examine her, was that during this particular...
Yeah, Diddy's head is all gray now, chat. And don't worry, guys, we're going to go back to the LA riots here in a little bit, just getting updates with this stuff.
birthday that Jane got Diddy a mobile television, and this mobile television was so that way he could watch their videos together, their sexually explicit videos together. And she said that this television could suffice as entertainment for her, for Diddy. And so then that's when we start to kind of get into Cassie's lawsuit. But as far as just her saying that she consented on these tapes and told Diddy this, I definitely think it's a point the defense will pick apart whenever they do have that time to cross-examine her. So it's pretty conflicting. And as far as the jurors kind of watching all of this, I did see jurors, because we did have a different seating switch up, I should say. And we sat on a different side, so we get more of a view of the jury. And I feel like at times the jurors were kind of like, okay, this is another text. I'm seeing them really kind of intently like look at the exhibit screen right in front of them. And so they were just kind of, from what I could see, really just digesting all of this testimony. Of course, there were, I think sometimes I did see one juror kind of making a face, and I'm not sure if that was at the sexually explicit stuff that she was sending him or that he was sending to her. But for the most part, from what I saw, they were definitely overanalyzing these text messages, or not overanalyzing, but at least digesting them and really.
Again, and this is kind of what they did with Cassie. One side looks at the text messages as like, look, Diddy's like pressuring her to do this. Then the other side says, well, hey, you're an adult and you're engaged in this stuff, talking all this, you know, dirty talk with Diddy about how you want to like get banged and all this other stuff. So it's funny because they're interpreting the text messages completely differently depending on its defense or the prosecution.
Kind of interpreting them for their own mind.
And I'm curious how Diddy's behaving, because we know last week he was scolded by the judge for allegedly nodding at the jurors during a key piece of cross-examination. There were reports that he went up to the sketch artist and complained because he felt that the sketch artist, and we're showing these sketches, or part of the sketches, make him look like a koala. By the way, we put up a poll and we asked our viewers, what do you think? Definitely a koala or don't see it. Sorry, not making a lie. 55% don't see it. They don't see a koala. But how has he been reacting during the course of what is, you know, important testimony and arguably points of the testimony that may help his case?
Yeah, from what I saw of him, he definitely isn't doing that thing where he's looking at the jurors, he's nodding along, because also the prosecution is giving this line of questioning right now. It's not his defense attorney, so it might switch up when the cross-examination begins, but possibly not also because of what the judge had told him last week. But as far as even the jury entering and exiting the courtroom, either for a break or for the lunch break, as we saw just a few minutes ago, it's a little bit different. Before, he would kind of turn around, watch them all go off of their seats, but this time I really saw him just laser focused on the judge, or just straight up looking down. So I think trying not to make eye contact. I don't think he wanted to get in the judge's crosshair, not one bit. Now, as far as the koala thing goes, I have to say there was this time where I did see Diddy talking to Jane last week, and I did see him kind of doing this. And I think as far as the koala goes, I think it was really kind of like talking about playing up the beard just a little bit.
And the reason why, guys, just because I've shown you guys the diagram, the feds don't allow cameras into federal courtrooms. So there's sketch artists in there drawing paintings and shit like that of everything that's going on. And actually, I showed you guys an illustration. They're sitting in the front row. There's two of them in there, and they're like, you know, sketching everything. And yo, I ain't gonna lie, they're pretty talented, bro. They be getting that shit done. They be doing like 3 or 4 of these paintings in just one day of court.
As far as what you could see inside those drawings, because it is pretty cool to see Jane kind of in her work really kind of drawing everything piece by piece. Sometimes in testimony when like it gets a little redundant, I am kind of looking off to her to see how this is all coming along. And so it seems like, yes, Jane Rosenberg, and she does a great job. She does a fantastic job, and she really is very diligent when she's putting her court sketches together.
Okay, we have a question for you, Elizabeth, from one of our viewers, Tamara Tredkowski. Apologies if I mispronounced your last name. Elizabeth, were any potential upcoming witnesses mentioned today?
Unfortunately not. From what they tell us, and they being the prosecution, they say that they're still going to continue with Jane's testimony at least till the end of the day. Then we'll have the cross-examination for Jane. But the thing about Jane is she has to be off the stand by Thursday evening because she has a flight to catch, because she is going, I guess, on this trip internationally, either for business or for something else. But as far as just who we can expect for the next witness, they've been keeping pretty mum on that. I'm hoping they'll tell us at least at the end of the day today who that next witness may possibly be, but for right now they've been pretty tight-lipped about it so far.
Have they mentioned, I thought I read something, is there a conversation about recalling Dr. Dawn Hughes, an important witness, to maybe explain some of the behavior?
And Dawn Hughes is the feminist psychologist that came in the before, which I did a whole breakdown on that like 2 weeks ago with Chad.
Of these alleged victims, which the prosecution might need. There's been a lot of witnesses since her testimony who, texted Sean Combs loving messages, posting loving messages, seemed to act in ways that were contradictory to being abused. You're listening to the complicated testimony of Jane, who, again, was in a relationship with Sean Combs up until his arrest, apparently still paying her rent. And these issues of was she a willing participant or not? Anything about whether Dr. Dawn Hughes is going to take the stand again?
Yeah, so the prosecution did file a motion to recall Dr. Dawn Hughes. However, the defense has yet to respond to that motion. And so the judge said, okay, the defense, you want to take until end of day to respond to this. He's totally fine with it. So the discussion hasn't happened on whether or not this will actually happen, that being Dr. Dawn Hughes being recalled to testify. But it seems like it is something the prosecution wants. We're just waiting to hear.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you guys. A lot of it was like feminist propaganda when she was testifying, man. It goes to show that the psychiatry world is literally run by fucking feminists, man.
What the defense has
absolutely cooked.
And they're filing about obviously opposing to that. But it's interesting, if Dr. Dawn Hughes was to retestify, will we see Jonathan Bach again? We have not seen him since he cross-examined Dr. Dawn Hughes a couple weeks ago. So maybe it'll be exciting for him to come back, but we'll kind of wait and see what the judge has to say and what the defense even has to say in their response.
Scope says, Laura Loomer met with Vance a couple days ago and is now urging that Palantir be used to track these illegals. Was this a setup to roll out Palantir? What are your thoughts? I don't know, man. They've been using Palantir for years, guys. I told you guys this already. They've been using Palantir for damn near 10 years already, bro.
So got a question from RSS real quick, Elizabeth. What went on with this mistrial situation? Didn't the defense...
Okay, that's what I wanted to know, because yesterday the defense filed a bunch of documents on the mistrial. That's what we're talking about. So let's see what the fuck happened here.
File for a motion for a mistrial. I think it had to do with what they believe.
Because the dangling of that girl on the balcony apparently was not true, and they're trying to claim that Cassie and Bungala, the girl that was dangled across the balcony, conspired and lied on the stand about that.
Is false, perjured testimony of some of the witnesses, right?
Yeah, so it all has to do with Bonna's testimony, and the defense during Bonna's cross-examination was kind of like, okay, Diddy wasn't even in that side of the country when this allegedly happened, and you say that Diddy dangled you off a balcony on the 26th. We have this receipt showing that he was actually at the Trump Hotel here in New York during, I think it was the 24th of September to the, I think, 26th of September of that year, or just a couple days. It might be takeaway here or there. But the defense did file a motion for a mistrial, or renewed motion for a mistrial over the weekend. And so I was expecting some arguments about it this morning, but another diversion yet again, because the government has to respond to the defense's motion for a mistrial. Obviously, they're going to oppose it. And so business just kind of continued on as usual this morning. There was a little moment this morning where the judge was like, can I speak to both lead counsel in our chambers? And we thought maybe it's a jury issue. We didn't know kind of what was going on. And then again, they just went to business as usual. From what I saw of all the jurors today, they were all there. And so as far as the first question, the motion for a mistrial, the government will respond to that today. Yep. And so we could hear arguments about it possibly tomorrow.
All right. Elizabeth Milner, I know you got to head back into that court.
All right. Okay. Let's go back to the protest, ninjas. Looks like some shit is going on in New York, right? As we can see here. And then LA. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think this is that far from the federal courthouse where I was at before. I think it's pretty close if I'm not mistaken, but this is New York City right now, chat. Yeah, chat, they're doing this shit in New York City too, man. Look, torch fascism. I told you, man, that is their #1 word, bro. These liberals, man, they hate that word fascism. You're a fascist. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. The fact that they're even letting you fucking morons, protest in the streets like this proves that it isn't fascism, retards. Like, them being out there in itself proves that it's not fascism. Like, bro, liberals are such dumbasses, dude. Holy shit, niggas are retarded. And they're always like fat slobs like this chick wearing masks and shit. Fucking weirdos. Bro, COVID is done. The fuck, man? See, here's the thing with these idiots, right? They never want to go hard on immigration, right? Because they're like, oh yeah, you could just totally come here and break the laws and just come here and just fucking do whatever you want. And this is the problem with these leftists. They don't understand that these people coming here and abusing the system creates problems for them. A lot of these liberals graduate from college, can't find a job, etc. You want to know why? Because a lot of these fucking foreigners take their jobs from H-1B visas, etc. They don't even understand that they fund their own losses, okay? Castle Club guys, by the way, I'm dropping a link here for you ninjas. 2 different offers for you if you want to go ahead and get an OSS at a discounted price for the year or for the month. The year is only $55, probably the best deal. Won't break the bank whatsoever, and you're good for the year. Only offer right now for Castle Club guys. But anyway, back to what I was saying before. I put the link in the chat for you guys. Jump in there. But they don't understand that them advocating for more immigration actually hurts their bottom line. This is why so many of these idiots go to college, get a degree, and they can't find a job. Because they support their very legislation that makes it harder for them to find a job because they're displaced by fucking immigrants.
Welcome, punch!
And they don't realize how dumb they are for doing so.
Stupid.
And dude, if you're wearing a mask in 2025, I'm sorry, but you're a fucking retard. It's crazy to me. The only places I see people still wearing masks because of COVID is in like New York City or LA. I don't see people wearing masks in Florida anymore, bro. You get made fun of for that shit. Wild. Okay, shout out to the emotional anarchist, $1 there. Anti-Slimpin 101, Don DeMarco for you. He just subscribed for the year with OSS. Shout out to you, bro. Everyone that joins OSS, I'm going to be shouting you guys out. Do you believe that Iran will attack Israelis' nuclear sites if a war is declared, or is it a front? If a war is declared, yeah, they're absolutely going to do it. Just joined Castle. Shout out to you, Kwam, for joining Castle Club. Showing flags of other countries in the U.S. equal jail. Yeah. For El Myron. I appreciate that. Kame says, I'll join Castle Club today. I can get in touch with Fresh or Chris since they are getting girls on the show. Okay, cool. Definitely talk to them. And donate a thing on stream so that I can remember. Okay? Make sure to donate on stream so I can remember that you wanted to do that. But yeah, join Castle Club today, bro, for sure. Get in there. But yeah, shout out to all you guys that are joining OSS, like I said. Only for Castle Club guys, special price point for you guys. $55 gets you in for the year. And we're going to be doing a bunch of cool shit for the OSS. We're going to have a call-in portion of the debrief. We're going to be doing annual meetups on 420, absolutely for free. We're going to be having a Telegram group, all that shit. Discounts on merch. I got some shirts that I'm going to be releasing that Brett's working on. So OSS is going to have some merch. It's going to be shit. Shit is going to be lit. All right, now let's look at, while these idiots continue with their stupidity, let's go ahead and look at LA. Because the Marines have pretty much touched down. Apparently there's 3,000 of them now. All right. All right, so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to go start the debate. As you guys can see here, this is debating resistance, 20 protesters versus 1 Palestinian. And what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to periodically go back and forth with what's going on with the riots. So we'll be checking in on the riots and see what's going on as well. And we'll just go back and forth and cover the riots as well. So I got you, ninjas. If breaking news comes in, just, super chat it in. But yeah, we got 3 different feeds here. But let's go ahead and watch this.
I do not agree that we should find common ground with people who support a genocide. That's unacceptable.
Make peace
that
with
is your never.
enemies, not with your friends.
No, we do not make peace with people who are murdering children. Answer me that. Who put your parents in Gaza?
Between 1948
You're
and
not gonna
67 and 1967.
You've dodged every one of my questions.
It's not us who are rejecting the peace. I don't like the fact that whoever's trying to promote that this is the moderate view and this is the extremist view. We are not extremists.
My name is Ahmed Fouad Al-Khatib. I'm a Palestinian American who grew up in Gaza, where I lost immediate and extended family members in the war. Since October 7th, I've been on a mission to delegitimize Hamas and promote a pragmatic pathway forward away from violence and toward peace and coexistence. And I am surrounded by 20 pro-Palestine protesters.
All right, we got here Russ Bros gifted a sub to Tevin like Kevin. Appreciate that. And shout out to you, bro. And also, guys, like I said before, if you guys are watching on YouTube or Rumble, open up a tab and watch on Kick. Okay, open up a tab and watch on Kick for me. I'd like to maintain 200 live viewers at all times. We're going to get up to there, guys. We're going to get to the point where we got thousands on Kick because I'm not view botting like all these other niggas. You guys know that. So, OSS, guys, I'll drop a link for you guys here as well because I'm live streaming on OSS as well. So, yeah, man, drop a link in there. Open up a tab there as well.
That unleashed the worst catastrophe.
Okay, so here's his claim. October 7th was an abhorrent disaster that unleashed the worst catastrophe in the Palestinian people's history. I don't agree with that. I think the Nakba was, but that's fine. Let's see what they say.
In the Palestinian people's history.
And the Nakba in Arabic means the catastrophe. That was basically where they exiled 700,000 Palestinians out of their homes in what was British Mandatory Palestine back then with these militia groups.
Hi, my name is Ahmed.
So, worst catastrophe. I think that you're using specific words for specific reasons. The Nakba, catastrophe, right? I want to offer my condolences. I believe that 33 members of your family were exterminated by the Zionist entity. So my question is...
That's absolutely nuts that 33 members of his family were killed. But that goes to show you guys the ridiculous asymmetric warfare that's been going on there for decades.
How is this worse than what initiated everything, which was the Nakba in 1948?
My grandparents were pushed out in 1948, where 700,000 Palestinians were unfortunately forced to leave their homes, and in some cases had no choice but to leave their homes. Since October 7th, over 2.1 million Palestinian people have had to leave their homes due to the catastrophe that Hamas's actions unleashed by attacking Israeli communities on October 7th. Quantitatively and qualitatively, Hamas's actions have triggered one of the worst catastrophes in the Palestinian people's history, whereby 50,000 Palestinians would still be alive had Hamas simply kept its soldiers at home on October 7th,
right? So,
including family members of my own.
Mm-hmm. So by that logic, if Zionists wouldn't have colonized Palestine, then none of this would have began to begin with, right?
As a Palestinian who grew up in the Gaza Strip, what I can tell you is that...
Who put you there?
The Gaza Strip...
Who put you there?
...had immense potential to be the pride and joy of the Palestinian people, to prove that we are absolutely capable of having a functional state of our own that can rebuild our society, rebuild our heritage, reclaim our presence on the land.
The entirety of the land, or just because I believe your parents were in a refugee camp, right? They were forced into that.
There are nuances and complexities in history.
Who put them there?
Nuances and complexities.
But that's a very objective thing.
In
Who
history
put them there?
that unfortunately
Zionists, right?
you unfortunately are not willing to listen to some of the nuances and the complexities. Do you know, for example,
well,
that
just answer
in
that.
1948, the Arab armies that were coming in to supposedly save the Palestinian people asked Palestinians,
From whom?
Asked Palestinians to leave.
Occupiers, yeah.
Asked Palestinians to leave, disarmed Palestinians, and said,
he's also, but here's the thing, he's forgetting something. The Israelis had already been like pushing them out of their homes, like up in Haifa, northern Israel. They had already been getting these people out. So the Arabs were like saying, okay, well, they've already displaced you, continue going where you need to go, and we're going to fight them, and we'll get this done in a few days. But they obviously grossly miscalculated the capability of the Israeli force, and they lost.
Oh, this is a matter of 2 to 3 days.
So we agree that they should have been armed.
That's not my point. My point is,
you said they disarmed them as if it's a negative thing, right?
The history of the Nakba itself is so singularly focused on what happened from the point of view of Zionism and
the colonizers, right?
Whereas I actually want to understand what happened with the Arab failures that have put us,
the failures to stop Zionism, right?
Why wasn't a Palestinian state?
Right?
Why wasn't a Palestinian state established between 1948 and 1967?
Because the British were in control of the region, and we know for a fact that the Palestinian revolt was in opposition to the British, right? So when people talk about, we've been opposing colonization for 75 years since the Nakba.
Yeah, honestly, the Brits started a lot of these problems by making promises to both sides, making promises to the Palestinians, saying, hey, if you guys go ahead and fight on our behalf in the displaced Ottoman Empire, we'll give you Palestine. And then also making a promise through the Balfour Declaration for the Zionist organization as well. So they basically double dip, man. England is a big part of the problem here, chat.
Add another 30 for British colonization of the region. Is that incorrect?
Between 1948 and 1967.
Is it incorrect that the British
who was in
colonized the
charge
region?
between 1948 and 1967?
Is that incorrect? You haven't answered a single one of my questions. I asked who put your parents in Gaza, and you were unwilling to answer that. Can you at least answer me that? Who put your parents in Gaza?
Between 1948 and 1967 and 1967.
This guy.
67.
You've dodged every one of my questions.
It's not dodging so much.
So just it's a very simple question. Who put your parents in a refugee camp?
On my mom's side, the Arab invading armies asked the invading armies to liberate the Palestinian people.
Why were they invading?
To supposedly stop the Zionist invasion.
From doing what?
From taking over the Palestinian people's lands in the areas that later on became Israel.
Okay, and you're okay with that?
I'm not okay with that.
Okay, so we should liberate that land.
80 years later, Israel is a recognized state that exists, that is recognized by the entirety of the international community. And this illusion that armed resistance is going to get rid of 7 million Jewish Israelis, 7 million.
So we're talking getting rid of the Zionist occupation, the Zionist entity itself, right? The colonial forces.
So do you believe that there should be a space for the Jewish people?
There always have been. What we're opposition to is, or opposing, I should say, is the Zionist entity itself. Why do Europeans have the right to colonize and impose a government on Palestinians? Why?
Well, I would say that we should ask that to the King of Jordan at the time.
He's not here, unfortunately.
At the time, we should ask the Arab armies that came to liberate the Palestinian people.
Why didn't they defeat the Zionists?
And ended up facilitating part of the Nakba by asking folks.
Yeah, the reality is that there were many hands involved in this problem. The invading Arab armies, obviously the Zionists, the British government. Multiple entities failed in this situation that led to somewhere around 700,000 Palestinians being displaced back in 1948. Hey, Myron, is there an annual discount code for CC? I don't know if there's one yet. We got to make one for you guys, which I'll talk with Noble and then when I see them.
My mom.
So you're blaming the Nakba on the Arab countries?
I'm blaming the failures of the Arabs and
multiple entities failed,
and of the Palestinian leadership at the time in acting in the best interest of the Palestinian people, and then looking at 1948 to 1967, why wasn't a Palestinian state established? Why wasn't it until 1964 that at the Arab League summit that
Well, they can't establish a state because they're being violently occupied. That's another one of the problems. And the other thing too, also, guys, is I'm going to have to be very. I don't know if a two-state solution is viable anymore, chat. I'll be honest with y'all, man. They're expanding the settlements. Gaza's pretty much going to be taken over. It's been completely destroyed. Something like 80 to 90% of the infrastructure there has been destroyed. I don't know if they'll be able to create a two-state solution now at this point, man. And the Israelis obviously did this on purpose. So the only thing that would work is you would have to have, like, that's feasible, right? A two-state solution sounds great on paper, but everybody knows that that's very difficult to do, and it's going to be damn near impossible now because the settlements have expanded so much. 700,000 of those people are in the West Bank, and then obviously Gaza is pretty much completely decimated. They're going to try to move those people. So the only real thing is you would have to integrate all those Palestinians into Israel and give them citizenship. Now, we know that Netanyahu does not want to do that. And on top of that, they need to ensure, this is why Israel's an ethno-state, that it stays a Jewish state. And for it to stay a Jewish state, that means it has to be a Jewish majority. That means it needs to be 80%, guys. That means they need to maintain 80% of the citizenship. Right? They brag all the time, oh, we have 2 million Arabs that live with us, blah, blah. Yeah, they're there just to kind of, not make it look as bad. Right? But they're still, being oppressed, and they still don't have 100% equal rights, even though they say on paper they do. Right? So the reality is it's going to have to be a one-state solution. That's the most realistic thing, but that's going to be very, very, very difficult to do because we know that the Netanyahu administration, the Likud party, they're far right. They want them gone. If we're going to be honest, if it were up to them, they would push a button and get rid of all the Palestinians. So, though the one-state solution seems to be the most viable thing, that would necessitate the Israeli government taking these Palestinians in as equals and giving them human rights. Right? This is how they kind of ended things in South Africa, the issues in South Africa. But man, that's going to be very difficult for Israel to do. And I don't know if they're going to do it. I don't know if they're going to do it. They'd rather just get them off the land altogether, aka push the ethnic cleansing that they've been doing for a while already. So that's kind of the problem. That is the problem here.
The decision was made to create the Palestinian Liberation Organization and to push for Palestinian statehood. Why was Jordan allowed to annex the West Bank and Egypt annex the Gaza Strip?
To be very clear, I'm against that, but that's a regional conflict, right? That's a regional, what I'm opposed to is Europeans thinking they could colonize Palestine.
Do you
That's
know that
a primary
half of Jewish
contradiction,
Israelis?
right?
Do you know
I'm
that
not
half
talking
of
about,
Jewish
no, I'm talking
Israelis
about the
are-
originators of the Zionist project. Can we agree that they were Europeans?
Not entirely, no.
The majority?
Not entirely.
There were majority secular
certainly,
Jews.
there were certainly some elements of the
majority was.
Zionist movement that certainly emerged out of Europe. But I'm saying right now, I am thinking about the future. I am thinking about Gaza. What happened in Gaza on October 7th was not because of Zionism.
What happened in Gaza on October 7th?
What happened with the attack that Hamas launched as a terrorist organization. You have taken an entirely different approach to thinking about October 7th. You
Right.
have eaten up the Hamas propaganda that says October 7th happened because of Zionism.
And you're eating up
Because
the Zionist propaganda, right? Because I don't ever hear you bringing up, and I've seen many of your interviews.
Here's the thing, man. Propaganda is just the reality of war. It's about finding a middle ground of what is true and what's not. Because both sides are going to push propaganda. Both the Palestinian and the Israeli side lie. But I would say Israel lies more because they control the narrative, right? Especially in America. Especially in America. So
I don't see you ever bringing up the IOF, if you want to call them the IDF, the Hasenga, where they came from, right? They started.
He means the Haggadah.
As a terrorist militia.
Well, it's Haganah, Ergun, Stern Gang. Those are the three factions that pretty much ended up becoming what we know today as the IDF. That and they started as terrorist organizations. Right here, Ergun, Bam. Okay, then you got the Haganah. right? Another paramilitary Zionist organization. Then you got, obviously, Stern Gang, also known as Lehi. These three organizations, because these are all paramilitary terrorist organizations, Irgun, Haganah, and the Stern Gang, aka Lehi. These organizations all would eventually be commingled to create the IDF that you know today. Okay? And that's basically what happened, because they conducted a bunch of terrorist attacks before the creation of Israel in 1948, and then them being rolled into the IDF. So.
Did they not? Were they not killing British soldiers? How is that irrelevant?
Okay, the Israeli Defense Forces originally formed from the Haganah and his military branch, the Palmach, to resist Nazi forces after World War II. They operated underground, taking actions Israelis consider resistance and Arabs consider terrorism. See, that's funny how, see, when it's on the Israeli side, they call it resistance. No, bro, it was fucking terrorism, bro. It's definitely terrorism. Absolutely terrorism. Right? Here they are right here. Haganah. Right? And then here's Irgun and Lehi Gang. Another militant group.
And that's where they came from, and they continue to impose that upon the Palestinian population. I ask you, why is it that in the West Bank, there's nobody stopping all the colonization that's still occurring?
Are you Palestinian?
I'm Mexican.
Have you lived in the Gaza Strip?
No, when you were run out.
Hey, it's good to see that other people are waking up, though, and seeing the bullshit that's going on, though. I'll tell you that.
Right? When you align yourself with, what was that organization you're involved with? Because I know you work for the Atlantic Council right now, right?
Do you know anything about my history?
Yes, I do.
So tell me, what is my history?
Your parents were forced into Gaza, were they not? They grew up in a refugee camp, were they not?
Do you know anything about Hamas and how it treats Palestinians in the Gaza Strip? Do you know anything?
Not worse than Israelis and Zionists treat them.
Do you know that in the past 2 days,
we agree.
Hamas executed dozens of Palestinians who were hungry, who were desperate, as Hamas was looting.
Dozens of
dropping OSS link for you guys right now in the CC chat. If you guys want to get in, like I said before, take advantage of either the monthly or the annual. 55 for the annual, 4 for the month, for the first month, then it goes up to 10 after that. Your choice, whatever you want to do. But it's only for you guys because you guys are members of Castle Club. Shout out to you. And just link is in there with the special promo codes for you guys.
The Palestinians, meanwhile, the Zionist entity exterminated.
Drop them in there for you guys right now.
33 of your family members.
Pause.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you though. This guy's kind of a pussy for not shaking his hand in the beginning. Like, look at this, man. This liberals, bro. The liberals are just such bad sports. Look at this shit.
Hi, my name is Ahmed.
So what a bitch. What a fucking bitch for that, bro. Like, that's just like pussy ass behavior, man. And it's always liberals that do that weirdo shit. They don't want to shake your hand. Bitch ass niggas.
The fact that, also, let's not pretend.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Female arguments. I hope you guys are ready.
Like October 7th was an isolated.
She's about to argue with emotion.
Incident. It didn't come out of nowhere. It came after years and years and years of occupation.
This is true because a lot of the times when the Zionists argue, they always start at October 7th. They always start at October 7th. They never go back to, the Balfour Declaration or their history, because to accept the Israeli history would accept all the evil atrocities that they've been committing for damn near 100 years.
Oppression.
Over 100 years.
And siege. Okay? So on October 7th, when the resistance took place, because it wasn't an isolated incident, it also happened to take place during a time where social media was rampant. So for the first time in a really long time, Palestine was in every conversation. Most everybody that you know could talk about Palestine in one way or another. They knew about what—
Let me read some chats here from you guys. One sec on Castle Club. We got here, okay. Brewski says, Myron, should the people of the right have come out en masse to protest Biden allowing illegals into the country? Yeah, but it's a little too late now. Quine says, here to get in touch with Chris or Fresh. /feels good to be in CC. Shout out to you. Drewski says, last stream cut off part way after about 4 hours in the OSS channel. Were you able to fix that for this stream? I don't know if it's going to get fixed. I got to talk to the people over at Locals, but we're working on it. The Way of Vic, this is the only mask I want to wear. Okay. Dominicano says, did you know there's an article about you covering the trial? No. The manosphere sees that on the Diddy trial to undermine alleged victims. I don't see no crimes committed. Bruh. Of course these niggas say this stupid shit. Who wrote this article? Support The Guardian? Look at this chat. Apparently they wrote an article on your boy. The manosphere sees the opportunity. When did they drop this? June 7th? Bro. Ah, man. Bro. Anyway. Of course they're gonna drop this bullshit. Anyway, let's see. Shout out to you, bro. I didn't know that they wrote that on me. Can you still watch CC on OSS like after hours? Can you still watch CC on OSS? No, not for after hours. It's only going to be for my stuff. OSS is only going to be for my stuff. Hopefully, I'm going to separate the two soon. Most of the people protesting are not undocumented migrants that are here. It's the kids who are the U.S. citizens protesting. Most undocumented migrants are working and contributing to the U.S. because they know and understand the rights and privileges of this country. Yeah, that's true. A lot of them aren't illegal aliens. Nightly Wisdom, W. Show Myron, is there a promo code for the early sub? Yep, I told you that. It's the JFK 911. I'm all for immigration, but they started getting actual working people going to job sites and graduations. I can't stand with that. Okay. We need to get jail out of the picture and have prisons and labor camps in America. Okay. All right, let's see here. What else? Code says making fun of somebody. Hey, Myron, let's say you have two credit cards and one that has no credit owing on it and one that say 2,000 could transfer the owing to another credit card. Second question is, bro, ask that question on Money Monday. That's actually a good question. From Neeliman. Neeliman, ask that question on CastleClub. On Money Monday when we got Brandon on. More OFO bodies were sent today from San Ysidro. They're working 20-hour shifts. The OT is crazy right now. And that's from Mario 76. Yeah, I believe it, man. Chief Rock Martin, this is embarrassing. The riders are mostly no Sabo Chicano punked that haven't been to Mexico or any of the land countries. Okay? Fuck it. 1,000 as fucking Hispanic. I'm embarrassed to see these people acting like this. That's from Eric. Okay.
What was going on? And for the first time, we are hearing people recognize how detrimental the IDF has been and the occupation has been in history. And I think that the fact that it took place during a time where social media
Estebar says I'm the most controversial person in USA Today. I don't know about that.
Was at its height. We're seeing people on the ground. We're seeing people take videos of the rubble of their homes. We're seeing people have to makeshift water filters so that they can have drinkable water. We are seeing children get shot for collecting rainwater. We are seeing children dying and starving and emaciated infants. And for the first time, it's not just on the news. It's on your phone. We're watching a genocide take place on our phones, and most everybody is talking about it. So how can you say that October 7th was so detrimental to the Palestinians when it is the first time that it has been brought to heightened media attention?
Well, I share your horror in what's happening in Gaza. I mean, it is an unimaginable level of death and destruction and pain and suffering and hunger and in some cases, I mean, people like being burnt in their tents and all the really horrible level atrocities that I have called out and I have said that the Israeli government and military have committed war crimes. I've actually overtly said that.
I mean, it doesn't take much to recognize that.
But my point is, I don't want my people.
Drewski said that guy that was doing a documentary possible hit piece on you ever release it. They're still working on it.
And my family and my community and my beautiful Gaza that has meant so much to the Palestinian people there and to what remains of my family, to merely become a social media phenomenon where it is on display for people to look at and say, wow, look at this is so horrible.
That's the only way. That's the only way that they can get people to recognize just how bad it really is, because there is no mainstream media covering what has been going on for 80 years. It's all skewed media.
So may I just clarify, because that if so, that sounds really awful what I just heard you say. You're saying that you want to see images of dead Palestinians. You want to
No
see...
one wants to see those images, but if that's what it takes to get people to recognize...
Well, a lot of people, again, October 7th, I will say this, it absolutely brought to light what Israel's been doing for damn near 100 years, because a lot of Americans were completely, aloof to the fact that Israel was, illegally occupying an entire group of people and territory. So it definitely did bring that into play because of the power of social media and cameras and stuff like this. Because, let's be honest here. The American mainstream media, which 5 of the 6 is owned by Zionists, by the way. Actually, no, 6 out of the 6 are all owned by Zionists. 5 of them are Zionist Jews. And then the Murdochs are Zionists, right? We know that Rupert Murdoch, for example, is close friends with Benjamin Netanyahu. Benjamin Netanyahu actually stays at his house when he visits. So all 6 are basically all 6 of the main entities that own 98% of the media in America are Zionists. So obviously, when 98% of the media in America is Zionist controlled, they're not going to show you guys the conflict of what's going on in Palestine, the Intifadas, the wars, the cutting of the grass escapades, where they basically periodically bomb Gaza. They call it cutting the grass, where they run these operations to kill people. People didn't know about this stuff for a very long time because American media refused to cover it. So now with social media and TikTok and Twitter and these platforms that the mainstream media can't necessarily control and the ADL can't control, now this information is being pushed out there, and October 7th was kind of the stimuli for that. Obviously, the negative is that we've seen hundreds of thousands of people die, but now people are kind of aware of what's going on in the Middle East because most Americans didn't even know what Zionism was prior to October 7th. And then also someone sent this in, interesting. Iran says it can now immediately strike back if Israel hits nuclear sites, claims new intel has exposed Israel's hidden nuclear facilities. Retaliation should be precisely proportional, Supreme National Security Council. So let's see here. Okay, I can go ahead and translate this for you guys. You speak in Farsi. I don't speak Farsi, but I know some of you guys are listening in. It says, by the grace of God, let me make this bigger for you, ninjas, so you guys can see. All right. The unknown soldiers of Imam Mahdi from the intelligence apparatus within the Ministry of Intelligence have successfully obtained an operational, logistical, and scientific intelligence treasure from the Zionist regime, namely Israel. With the grace and effort of the team, it was successfully transferred into the country. This represents a major intelligence breakthrough. In truth, describing it as merely thousands of documents is an understatement. And just so you guys know, this news broke out, I think, like a day or two ago. And I know that there's subtitles, chat. The reason why I'm reading it is because there's a lot of people that listen to the show that don't watch. That's why I'm reading it out loud, guys. I emphasize again, it's an exceptionally valuable intelligence trove. Containing operational, logistical, and scientific information that has now come into the possession of our intelligence personnel. Are these documents exclusively related to nuclear matters? Complete nuclear documents have been acquired or transferred, along with other materials concerning dealings with America, Europe, and other countries. Oh, shit. Including intelligence that directly contributes to our nation's offensive capabilities. This is highly significant. Wow. Okay. So that's a big breakthrough that the Iranian intelligence was able to acquire this stuff. And the reason why, guys, as you guys know, Israel has very good intelligence. But obviously, you know, so let me explain this, right, guys? So what do we got here? Okay. Guys, do me a favor. Smash the like button for me so I can explain this to you guys. Smash the like button for me on YouTube. Also, open up a tab on Kick. Okay. Join Castle Club. CC17 is the promo code. I'm going to try to get you guys an annual code as well. I don't know what the annual code is, but we'll make one for you ninjas. For you guys that want to join for the year. But let me go ahead and get this real quick. I'm going to drop the Kick link for you guys so you guys can go ahead and open up a tab and watch on Kick as well. Okay. If you're watching on Castle Club, open up a tab. If you're watching on Rumble, open up a tab. Let's maintain 200 live viewers. All right. Anyway. So it's very important for you guys to understand that after World War II, okay, we transitioned from conventional warfare of dropping bombs on each other, right? Like we did with Nagasaki and Hiroshima, which ended World War II. And conventional warfare of, you know, getting in ditches and shooting at each other, right, from World War I and World War II and, you know, camps and all this other stuff. Because the United States ran concentration camps too, by the way, chat. We did it with the Japanese. So World War II, the culmination of World War II, pretty much ushered in a new era of world powers fighting with each other. And it went from the conventional warfare of being on a battlefield and shooting at each other or dropping airstrikes or attacking each other, you know, directly to what we have now, which is an intelligence world driven by proxies, okay? Now, the reason why this has become the more favorable way of conducting warfare is that it allows world powers to conduct warfare in a way that is less expensive, less dangerous, creates less resources, and most importantly, creates what we call plausible deniability, okay? So it went from the United States being on the battlefield, right, whether storming the beaches of Normandy, whatever, to the United States instead backing militia groups that have a similar ideology in mind where they are trying to overthrow or attack a government that the United States does not like, okay? An example of this, I can give you guys an example, was in the 1950s when the United States and the UK overthrew the Iranian government. I think the guy's name was Moghadassi or something like that. Don't quote me on that. But basically, he was Iran's first officially elected official, or one of the first, the president. And they got rid of him because he wanted to nationalize their oil, okay, which would have been really bad for the British and the Americans. So what they did was they ran a CIA coup to overthrow him, okay, and install the Shah, who went on to lead the country for another 20 plus years before the Ayatollah came in and took over Iran now, right? And this is just one example of post-World War II modern warfare where instead of conducting battle on the fields, you're doing it through intelligence agencies. This basically gave rise to the CIA, to the Mossad, to the MI6 or MI5, whatever. All these different intelligence agencies and apparatuses all across the world, right? And the imperial powers, the allies, a lot of these, the KGB, etc. These powerful countries would utilize their intelligence services to conduct operations and get classified information so that they can do clandestine operations to maybe eliminate targets, destabilize governments, and do this all surreptitiously with plausible deniability, which would save them manpower, resources, soldiers, and a bunch of other things, right? Now, a country like Israel, for example, right? It's a country that's fairly small, that doesn't have a big population, and can't really field a large conventional military. So they rely heavily upon their intelligence agencies like the Mossad, like the Shin Bet, which is their equivalent. The Mossad is their CIA equivalent. Shin Bet is their FBI equivalent. The Oman, which is like their DIA equivalent. Unit 8200, which is like their NSA equivalent. They rely heavily upon their intelligence agencies to get shit done. The Mossad, I think, has like 7,000 employees, which is huge for a country of that size. But the reason why they rely so much on their intelligence components is because they can't go out and fight conventional wars. The IDF is a small military and Israel's a small state, okay? So they rely heavily upon intelligence agencies. They have the most, confirmed assassinations, right? Killing Iranian nuclear scientists, killing political officials, killing members of Palestinian resistance movements, right? They've been doing this for a while. You saw the pager attack that went down. That is the intelligence world that we live in now. Conventional warfare is no longer a viable solution, okay? So now that you guys understand how warfare is conducted nowadays, the reason why this is so important is because Iran getting these documents that exposes Israel's nuclear program and their capabilities and their ability to strike, that's important for them because we live in an intelligence-driven world nowadays. And the other reason why this is important, guys, is because for those of you that might not be familiar, Israel has been trying to push the United States into a war with Iran. And the reason for that is because Iran basically has a nuclear program. But right now, at this moment, it is a civilian nuclear program, which means they're using the nuclear program to, create energy, which is completely legal through international law. However, Iran does have the capability to increase uranium enrichment to the level of weapons grade, right? Which would allow them to manufacture a nuclear warhead. Now, the reason why this is a problem for Israel is because they don't want anyone in the region to have nuclear weapons. Right now, as it stands, Israel is the only country that has nuclear weapons in the Middle East. Of course, they never publicly acknowledge this because they procured them illegally and that there's laws in place that Jimmy Carter signed back in the 70s that basically preclude Israel from having these nuclear weapons. And if they did have these nuclear weapons, it would affect their ability to get aid. Okay? And I made a tweet about this. Let me see if I can find it for you guys because I do like to show you guys, the receipts. I don't like to just sit here and be like, oh yeah, this is XYZ. Like, nah, man, you got to have facts sometimes. So I have it written here. Bear with me 1 second. I know it's here somewhere. I'm going through my Twitter. Get it for you ninjas. But while I dig for this thing, oh, here we go. Found it. Bam. Okay, so I go here. Israel has nukes. They just can't officially acknowledge it for two reasons. They stole uranium technology from the U.S. in the 1960s against JFK. And then because on March 10, 1978, Jimmy Carter signed the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Act into law. The bill incorporated the Symington and Glenn Amendments to the Foreign Assistance Act of 1961. The amendment barred U.S. economic and military assistance to any country that imported or exported nuclear fuel reprocessing or uranium enrichment equipment, materials, or technology, but failed to comply with International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, full scope safeguards. Cliffs, if Israel admits they have a nuclear program, they can't get any more aid from the United States. And as simple as that, John. That's really as simple as that. Now, everybody in the world knows that they have a nuclear program. We even know it, but they don't officially acknowledge it for that reason, okay? So Israel, having the current monopoly on nuclear weaponry in the Middle East, wants to maintain that hegemony. And they understand that if Iran gets a nuclear weapon, that's going to be bad for Israel. Not because Israel is going to get attacked by Iran and they're going to nuke them. Rather, it will put Israel in a position where they can no longer challenge the Iranian regime. Because what Israel's interested in is toppling the Iranian regime and installing a puppet government that would be more friendly to them and to the West. Okay? Now, Israel has been saying, yo, they got nuclear capability. We need to stop. We can't let them have any type of enrichment, etc. Now, the White House has been flopping on this. Okay? We've heard conflicting things where people say, on one end, Israel can enrich uranium as long as it doesn't go up to the point of weapons grade. It's got to be for energy only. Then we've heard other arguments where, Trump says, well, they can't have a nuclear program whatsoever. Now, Trump has been trying to do a nuclear deal with Iran for several months now, okay? And Steve Witkoff has been in the middle of these negotiations. And for those that don't know, Steve Witkoff is a friend of Trump that is basically the ambassador of foreign relations with, the Middle East. Okay, he has a lot of business in Qatar, Israel, etc. And he's been the one that's been kind of directly negotiating with the Iranians for this. But what you guys got to understand is that for the Iranians, that's a non-starter. If they can't have a nuclear program, that is a non-starter because the Iranians are intelligent enough to understand that if they get rid of their nuclear program, now they're definitely going to be attacked. Why? Because after the Iraq invasion in early 2003, and they attacked Saddam Hussein because they said that he had nuclear weapons, weapons of mass destruction. Libya saw this, and Gaddafi was terrified of being destabilized by the United States. So he voluntarily gave up his nuclear weapons. What happened to him? Well, we ran a coup and we got him assassinated roughly 10 years later. And to this day, Netanyahu tells Iran that they need to follow the Libya model of denuclearizing. Well, what happened in the Libya model? Gaddafi got killed in the streets, okay, violently by rebels. So Iran has seen the writing on the wall. They've seen what happens when they remove their strategic ability to defend themselves. So they don't want to stop their nuclear program. So that's a non-starter, okay? That's a non-starter. They're not even going to negotiate if they can't even maintain their nuclear program. So Israel, right, looks at this and says, okay, we need to attack them. We need to attack them. We know where their nuclear facilities are. They're heavily underground. One problem, though. Israel doesn't have the bombs or the capability of destroying these nuclear sites. The Iranians were intelligent enough to see that when Saddam tried to make a nuclear program in the 80s, Israel attacked the fuck out of him and bombed all the sites. So Iran said, okay, we need to, do our nuclear program, but put it underground. So they have these labs all across Iran in several different strategic locations where it's deep underground. And Israel doesn't have the bunker bombs, okay, to get this done. And they don't have the Air Force capability to get this done. They need the United States to be able to do this. Now, here's the other thing. If they were to attack Iran with these bombs, right, and, run a bombing campaign, it's not a guarantee that they would actually completely destroy each of these different nuclear sites. We would have to run a campaign for weeks, if not months, to effectively ensure that we destroy everything. And if we did that, we can pretty much guarantee a retaliation from Iran. Now, Iran is not like Iraq. They actually have a very sophisticated ballistic missile program, okay? They got hypersonic missiles, they got ballistic missiles, they got cruise missiles, they got everything. They got drones, okay? And what they would effectively do is, if we were to attack, is they would attack all of our allies in the Gulf, attack a bunch of different strategic oil locations all across the Gulf, and that would put us in a very bad position. And that would also shut down the Strait of Hormuz, which is a critical pathway for oil to travel through the Middle East. Something like 30% of the world's oil goes through this strait, okay? I could pull it up on a map if you guys want me to, but I pulled it up a bunch of times before. I think you guys know where it is. So effectively, we would see the price of gas skyrocket. We would see the economy tank, and we'd have a lot of problems. So the ballistic missile program that they have right now and their nuclear program, they're obviously going to keep that because that is what's ensuring their survival. And they don't want to give up their nuclear program because they want to be able to, if needed, nuclearize and make a warhead. And many military strategists basically have explained that Iran does have the capability of putting together a crude nuclear bomb within a few weeks. Okay? So why am I telling you all this? I'm telling you guys this because Iran understands that they're in a very pivotal time. Right now, the Axis of Resistance, which is the organization that they pretty much ran, where they aligned with Syria, Lebanon, the Houthis down in Yemen, and Iraq, is significantly weakened. Hezbollah has been dismantled and needs to recuperate. Syria has been completely toppled. Bashar al-Assad is gone. He ran away, and they have Mohammed al-Shara in there now, who is basically a proxy for the West. He wants to recognize Israel, and he had the sanctions lifted by Trump in Syria. He kicked out all the IRGC, Iranian Guard, from Syria. So they can't resupply Hezbollah in Lebanon because Syria's completely been taken over. And then the Houthis have been getting bombed relentlessly by the United States. So Iran has been significantly weakened through airstrikes, destabilization of their allies. So Israel's looking at this like, yo, United States, we got them weak. They're on their back foot. We need to attack now. We need to attack now. And Netanyahu's been trying to do this the whole 2025. And it's a big reason why Trump was actually supported so heavily by the Zionist lobby. They knew that he would give them the weapons and the support they need to finish up what they got going on in Gaza. But Trump has the wherewithal to understand that a war with Iran is not really a good idea. Because though we would win the conflict, it would cost us a lot of money, a lot of resources, and it would plunge the economy all across the Middle East and the United States. We're talking about $11 a gallon, guys, for gas. $11 for a gallon of gas. That's what we're talking about with war with Iran. Because they would make it economically very painful for us for attacking them. And U.S. soldiers would also be killed and attacked all across the Gulf. They would attack all of our bases in the UAE, Qatar, Oman, Saudi Arabia, etc. So this is why them getting this intelligence is so important. They're trying to keep Israel from attacking them because Israel is trying to get the United States to attack them. So they know that if we're able to get compromising documents on Israel, it will stave off their imminent attack. Now, Israel's also said, chat, that they will attack Iran with or without the United States. They've said this on multiple different occasions. They will attack with or without the United States because Iran is the last country left to challenge them. Every other Arab country has basically, or Muslim country, that's opposed them has either been destabilized, destroyed, or bribed. The last country standing in their way is Iran, and they've never been this weakened before. So we are in a very sensitive time. And it's amazing to me how the mainstream news doesn't report this more. It doesn't talk about how sensitive we are when it comes to a potential conflict with Iran and how these nuclear talks are not at the top of the news. Because these nuclear talks between the United States and Iran are pivotal to what happens next. This is why Trump has been sending Steve Witkoff to have these conversations. This is why Mike Waltz got fired, who was the national security advisor to Trump for a while, because he was advocating very heavily for us to go to war because he's in Netanyahu's back pocket, basically. So he got rid of him. Because Trump right now wants to pursue diplomacy. But if he wants to pursue diplomacy, he's got to go about it the right way. He's over here saying some bullshit about, oh, they can't have a nuclear program at all. That's a non-starter with the Iranians. And after what they've seen us do, they're definitely not going to get rid of their nuclear program. And then on top of that, chat, I've talked about this too, and I'll say it again. Trump tore up the nuclear deal in 2018. One of the most effective things that President Obama did during his presidency was he was able to strike a nuclear deal with Iran, which would ensure that they would never have nuclear weapon capability while simultaneously relieving them of the sanctions. So everybody won. It was a great deal that he actually struck. Props off to Obama. One of the good things he did while he was president. But of course, Netanyahu and the Israelis got angry. You can't trust them. So when Trump came into office in 2016, 2 years into the nuclear deal, almost getting finalized, he rips it up. And then he killed Qasem Soleimani in 2020, who was a very decorated military official that ran the Axis of Resistance for the Ayatollah. So clearly there's some bad blood here and they don't like each other for this reason. So I'm basically, staying on top of what's going on in the Middle East because this is a big deal, chat. And I think that this should be getting more attention than it's getting. But again, most Americans don't care about foreign policy, which is fine. That's what I'm here for. I'll educate you guys on this stuff. But when I say this, man, bro, this is not good at all. A war with Iran is not worth it. Tucker Carlson's been adamant about this, right? He's talked about this a lot. Nick Fuentes talked about this a lot. Myself, people that are versed in Middle Eastern foreign policy and understands Israel's influence on our politics and how it can negatively affect us and set us up for failure. So, looks like we might have to start Fresh and Fit around 8:30. But that's where we are, chat. That's where we are. So I hope that makes sense. Give me ones in the chat if that makes sense, guys. Why this is a significant find for Iran and kind of where we are when it comes to the wars in the Middle East. Give me ones if that all makes sense for you guys. Give me ones. And if you got any questions, get them in. Be happy to answer any questions. Shout out to Nolo from the dojo. He subscribed. Shout out to you, man. Estor says protect Myron at all costs. I appreciate that. Are you going to cover the YouTuber and his wife gunned down by another YouTuber in Vegas over YouTube beef? I heard about that, but I didn't know if it was real. All right, I see a bunch of ones on YouTube. Let me see on Kick. Kick, I know there's not many people that talk about this shit on your platform like that. So yeah, I'm glad that that I can bring this this knowledge over to you guys, because I don't think enough people, you know, understand what the fuck is going on. This is way more important than gambling, bro. Do you think Taliban are America's proxy? No, but the ISIS definitely is, and so especially for Israel too. So, all right, I see a bunch of ones on Kick as well. Shout out to you guys. Nigga gave a 1 and said I'm white. Okay. Someone said I give you a 6 out of 10 on Mideast politics. Okay, Izzy 61. You clearly know more than, right, buddy? You know more. The fuck out of here, nigga. Myron, you should smoke weed and gamble on stream. No, thank you, sir. So that's where we are, chat. Also, like I said before, Castle Club guys, CC17 is the code. Get in there. Okay. Get in Castle Club, guys. 50% off. You can get in at the $17 price point. Okay. So, yeah.
What's actually going on.
Audio on top today. Hey, baby. The audio is perfected now. The audio is perfected. You guys get that crispy sound with everything, man. We're out here.
Instead of another Middle Eastern war, then that's what it takes. It's tragic that
So
that's what it took.
Do you recognize that Hamas, in official communiques, has and publicly and overtly has made it clear that part of their strategy relies on causing maximum death and destruction in Gaza, so that the ensuing
in
imagery,
response to
May I-
Netanyahu blatantly saying that his goal is ethnic cleansing.
May I just finish this point, please? That Hamas wants to generate maximum death and destruction on the ground in Gaza in hopes that the ensuing imagery can actually rile up the international community, rile up folks in the Western diaspora on college campuses, so that then this could delegitimize Israel, so that this could stop the war. I'm talking about facts on the ground as somebody who has so much attachment to the reality of Gaza on a daily basis. My brother is there right now running one of the biggest medical NGOs. He has 70 direct reports that are doing work that's saving lives. I hear from folks from the protesters
There wouldn't be
Hamas.
lives to save if there was no occupation.
How about
your brother would not have to run an NGO if the occupation never existed and they weren't constantly bombing and killing children.
My brother was there.
Sorry, you've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
Thank you very much, Dana.
So, guys, I'm going to have to probably cut the stream here because we're going to be doing Fresh and Fit here in a little bit. Let me see how much more time we got. Give me 1 sec. I'll play this for a second. Let me check with who's here and shit like that.
Hi, Evan. Nice to meet you. Good to meet you as well. So I think one of the issues with your framing in that October 7th is leading to what we're seeing, the genocide today in Gaza, is the explanation that what is happening is inevitable. Genocides are not inevitable. This is the first armed conflict since the Rwandan genocide, in which the majority of deaths overall are women and children. The October of Gaza had some of the worst bombing campaign that we've seen since the Korean War or World War II. This type of level of destruction is not inevitable. This shows the explicit aims of the Israeli war cabinet, which they have explicitly endorsed as being a part of, for example, Trump's proposed plan of ethnically cleansing the Gaza Strip. The goal, for example, right now, with the complete blockage of...
All right, ninjas. I'm going to get off stream. We're going to be going out live with Brandon Carter here in a little bit. It's 8:05 now. I'm going to jump in the shower real quick and shit. I worked out earlier. Castle Club guys, CC17. 50% off, niggas. Wait, I'm sort of confused. So we are not on good terms with Iran? So why would Israel want us to attack Iran? Also, shout out to you. I've gotten more interested in foreign policy. I got you, Pedro. Yeah, we're not on good terms with Iran for a long time, bro. We've had problems with Iran for a very long time, bro. And Israel wants us to attack because Iran's the only country in the Middle East that challenges its hegemony. What you guys got to understand is that Israel wants to have all the power in the Middle East to ensure that it can exist, okay? Because it's a colonial apartheid ethno-state that stole land from an indigenous Arab people. And they're surrounded by enemies that don't want them there. The only thing that allows Israel to exist there without being destroyed is American support and us covering for them diplomatically at the UN. If it were not for the United States, Israel would be fucking taken over by the Arab world within 24 hours. Okay? So it's only because of American foreign aid and support that they're able to exist. So what they want to do is they want to ensure that every single Arab country that could potentially attack them or challenge their authority is neutered. Okay? And they do that by having nuclear weapons, conducting intelligence operations where they assassinate politicians and nuclear scientists for Iran. And this is what they've been doing for a very long time. Okay? That is what they're trying to do. So anyway, after I was going to be lit, guys, we're going to have Brandon Carter on. We're going to be going live probably around 8:30. We're waiting for him to get here. There's traffic in Miami. Again, CC17, CastleClub.tv, guys. So I'll catch you guys in a little bit. Going over to Fresh and Fit. Okay, going over to Fresh and Fit. I'll drop the link for you guys here in a second. Let me... And the riots obviously are going fucking wild as well, man. Holy. We'll see. If I'm not too tired, guys, I'll probably go and maybe I'll go ahead and come back on here for you guys if it's not too late when we finish after hours and shit. Let me see here. All right, boom. All right, ninjas. All right, guys. Go on over. Love you guys. I'm in the stream right now. I'll catch you guys back here on Fresh and Fit in about less than 30 minutes. Money Monday is going to be huge. Going to be open Q&A for you guys.